Marczell Klein is widely considered to be the best hypnotist and success coach in the world, known for his unique approach to boosting confidence and achieving goals. His modern take on hypnosis has drawn widespread attention, making him a sought-after figure in the coaching industry.
When you hypnotize someone, what you're doing is you're going from one reality to another. Everything you want could be right in front of you. Your brain literally could delete it. No, it could delete it.
Fuck out of here.
I swear to God.
If you've been in personal development for 2 years and you see great progress, wait till you do that shit for 10, 15 years.
I look at entrepreneurship like a game. How quickly can you problem solve? And how good are you at predicting the future based on what's happening right now?
You got a shitload of cars. People got to know that about you.
Yeah, I have a Porsche 911 Turbo S cab. I have a 2024. If someone was as good as me at what I do and had no morals, they would be one of the most dangerous human beings in the world.
Business owners are watching this and they're like, this motherfucker charging $1 million a month? A million per client? I want to know how to do that.
So I think a lot of you watching this, the best advice I'd give you is this. So they tried to cancel me on Clubhouse. I had 7,000 people in my room. I said, fuck this app. Fuck everyone on it. I don't care. Now the app's nothing. Now your app is worthless, you stupid piece of shit. This guy Peter comes to my seminar and he goes, hey, listen, I'm going to fly in, but I have a stutter. Can you get rid of it? And I said, of course I can. So he comes as the finale of the seminar I did in January. I get rid of his stutter. I'm at the event yesterday speaking, and the host of the event goes, yeah, I met this guy. He's talking about how he had the stutter and he went to see a hypnotist and he got rid of it. And then she goes, oh, was the hypnotist Marczell? He goes, yes. And they asked me here and I go, was it Peter? Was it Peter? And he goes, I'm very grateful for that.
And wow,
you know?
Dude, that is insane.
Yeah, so it's just funny that he ended up responding to it.
What do you think is like the neurological thing that goes on in your brain when stuff like that happens and when it gets fixed with hypnosis?
I think there's a physiological reason you stutter, you're born with it, and then there's another reason that's learned. So if you had a stutter develop, let's say year 3, 4, 5, it's because you learned it. And usually you learn it because you want to have some homeostasis with something that's happening at home. So maybe, you got yelled at, or you want more attention or love, or your parents are fighting and you want to kind of fix something, so you get sick to get more attention and you fix it. So it's just, it's all things that can change. It's just.
But I get that. Okay, so you have some sort of habit that you've developed in your brain, but what does hypnosis change physically, physiologically, that allows it to just fucking go away within the snip of a finger?
Yeah, so it takes around 6 to 8 months for a neural pathway to be formed.
Yeah.
But if you didn't stutter from age 0 to 3, then it already exists. There's already words you say that don't stutter. So there are pathways where you don't have to go, right? And if, let's just say anything, like smoking. You want to stop smoking, there's a version of you that didn't used to smoke.
Yeah.
So for most of hypnotherapy is getting rid of something you learned, or just going back to an old pattern and kind of adding on to that. However, there's an exception. And the exception is trauma. When you go through something traumatic, instantaneously in your amygdala, a new neural pathway is formed. So there's a permanent physiological change in the brain. And I use that to actually make a permanent change for someone that, to the point where they cannot undo it.
Yeah.
So instead of it being like temporary, right? Because the brain works on 3 things: chemicals, electricity, and then pathways. So with enough electricity going through the same thing over and over and over again, and enough chemicals, certain, chemicals people put in their body, in their brain, right? With enough time, it becomes a pathway, it becomes an actual physiological change in the brain.
Yeah.
The thing that I encourage people to do is, how do you make that happen faster, quicker, whatever it may be. So that's why it's permanent.
Because I remember you say that in one of your videos, trauma, you experience something traumatic, you have an instant change, and that change can last for fucking ever. You have a car accident, you see something horrendous, that will be just ingrained, burnt into your brain, will be there forever.
For the rest of your life, yeah.
Exactly. And then something similar happens when you get hypnotized, apparently.
So when you hypnotize someone, what you're doing is you're going from one reality to another. So imagine you think Santa Claus is real.
Yeah.
One day you wake up and you realize it's a Coca-Cola propaganda commercial and it was a bunch of bullshit, right?
In Finland, he is real.
Yeah. Well, suddenly he's not real, right?
Yeah.
And then for the rest of your life, you can't unsee that.
Yeah.
So most of what hypnosis is seeing things differently that you didn't see before, and then you can't unsee them. However, there are exceptions to this where you actually make a permanent, radical change. Not just changing your lens or your pattern of focus, but you're changing something deep down. And I use a combination of both, which is why I'm so effective.
And with that guy that's unlearned stuttering, what exactly did you do? How long did it take? So you don't have to tell me the whole secret or whatever, but what's the process like?
It took 45 seconds. I called him up. I said, sleep. I said, your stutter's gone.
Fuck out of here.
I swear to God, I have it on video. I've done this. I do this all the time. Someone says they have a stutter, I just call them up on stage. And I'm like, your stutter's gone. And then it's gone. And they're like, yes. I have videos that I post. Like, I post all these videos of me getting rid of these stutters. Actually, I'm going to post. So I'm going to have a vlog / mini documentary of that seminar that I'm going to post. And the finale of the documentary is actually his stutter getting.
So how much, I mean, it's different if someone is at your seminar, they clearly fucking love you, respect you, believe in it, because otherwise they wouldn't have paid to be there.
Yeah.
What's the difference? How much of that is that he has a lot of buy-in already versus someone just randomly walking on the street and you would walk up and be like, sleep, and now whatever?
Yeah, great. So if they don't know me and they don't know what I do, I could do it easily. If they're bought in, I could do it easily. Then there's that middle ground of like, I don't know, I'm skeptical. You have less rapport, and now their guard's up. So it's a bit harder. However, I could still do it. I mean, harder. I mean, how much harder? It's relative, right? It's kind of like, okay, a girl has 3 friends sitting next to her at a dinner table versus her sitting alone at a bench. What's harder to go up to her? You know, is it really that much harder, you know?
Yeah.
So it's relative, but you could do it. A lot of it is rapport and authority, but I can carry that in any environment. It doesn't matter.
So if you look at it like scientifically, what do you think is the science behind it? When you say, he comes up, you say sleep, and now your stutter is gone. Is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Is it a quote-unquote placebo effect? Not to take anything away from
No. Hypnosis, by the way, placebo is actually hypnosis.
Yeah.
So I'll explain the science behind all of this for you. What happens is there are 2 parts of the mind. So there's the hardware, which is the brain, you know, the chemicals in the brain, all that. And then there's the software. The software is an operating mechanism where we have our conscious mind, usually our frontal cortex. And then, well, mostly it is our frontal cortex, but that's where most of our consciousness is. And then the rest of our behavior is unconscious. So everything from breathing to blood pressure, you know, heart rate, you know, just organs, cellular things, immune, all of that is unconscious. The thing is, we can't consciously change what's unconscious. Most people are stuck in their mind. Now, if you look at someone's brain waves from age 0 to 8, they're in theta. Theta is the state that you go into when you're falling asleep, when you're waking up. Right? If you ever had a dream in the morning and you're still feeling it, whether it's a good or a bad dream, you're still kind of feeling those emotions because you're still in trance, you're in theta. Well, after the age of 8 or 9, you develop this consciousness and you become more effective. It's better, but your beliefs kind of become cemented into your brain at that age. And the brainwave state you tend to operate in is beta. Problem with beta is you don't change unconscious habits. So people say they want to go to the gym, they want to make more money, they want to have better relationships, they want to be more confident, and yet they can't do it because they're stuck in a lower brainwave frequency, or I mean a higher brainwave frequency, right? Beta. So what you do is you want to go back into the programming or the state we were in when we were programmed, which is theta, and that's hypnosis. If you put an EEG, which I do this at seminars and things like that, I'll put an EEG on someone's head and I'll show them the differences that happen the second they start going into trance. Like, hey, look at the state.
So going into theta means trance.
Yeah, hypnosis.
Okay.
And then in that state, you're a lot more receptive to change because normally, you know, you've been at some level, you go into trance, in and out of trance. When you're looking someone in the eyes and you're falling in love, anything like that. Anytime you take up the entire conscious attention, think of it as like, this is a great example. If you know computers at all or no?
Yeah.
So imagine you have the RAM and then you have your hard drive. The RAM is your conscious mind.
Yeah.
And once that gets full, it goes into the hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever used a computer where the RAM is full, it starts lagging, right? It starts going really, really slow. So when your conscious mind gets overwhelmed, your subconscious mind has to kick in. And our subconscious mind is so powerful. It's operating so efficiently. I always tell people, look, you want to make more money. You may not realize how many opportunities there are to make money. So let's say you go to an amusement park. You take even an average person, average IQ, even below average. There's so much noise around them, so many distractions. There's rides, there's people screaming, people talking.
Yeah.
And someone yells their name. Their brain goes, oh. So the same way their mind knows to filter all of that information and tell them, oh, hey, someone just called my name. Look over here. What if you could program someone to only see what they're supposed to see through all the noise, through all the distractions? And that's what a lot of people lack. They're doing that, but they're doing that for the wrong things. They're focused on what's wrong, or they just don't have the lens. So hypnosis gives someone a lens, and the science behind it is just simply This is our operating mechanism. We go in and out of hypnosis all the time. The question is, were you hypnotized to get what you want, or are you hypnotized to get what you don't want? All I do is I take what you've already been hypnotized for. I look at it and I say, well, that's not helping you. You were hypnotized to have a stutter. You're hypnotized to be insecure. You're hypnotized to be broke. So then I just look at that and I say, well, your parents hypnotized you when you grew up. They told you this. You looked at them. You observed them. All I do is I come in there and I'm like, what do you actually want? I take what you want. I put it in your head.
Interesting. So it's all about getting them into that theta state. It's almost like resetting them to a degree, and then from that theta state, you can make them look at what they really need to see.
It's like a blue screen on a PC.
Yeah.
You put on a blue screen, you can put code in.
Exactly.
It's exactly what
like
they
getting into the BIOS. I think it was called BIOS. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
The bio operating system. Like when it boots up, you have to press delete the whole time, and then you get into that before it boots up Windows. That's how we used to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then you could do shit there, and that's where you can overclock your processor and shit like that.
Like I remember that. I like it.
Interesting, man. Interesting. You've showed me footage of just like guys at your seminar, and you're like, oh, look at him, he's in trance right now, and they're like all like woozy, very interesting. And one thing that resonated with me when you said you're very open for suggestions when you're in that state. I've had similar experiences when I was taking ayahuasca, when I participated in ayahuasca ceremonies, but there it's like a chemical. Like something that it's a plant medicine, but something that you ingest, and then you get into, I believe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but it felt very much like you described it.
Well, you go into a trance, right? In hypnosis, you can hallucinate.
Yeah.
You hallucinate all your senses, sense of smell. You could see things, delete things. Like I've made it where I'm invisible to somebody, and I pick up a chair, and they're like not reacting to me at all. Or I'm so invisible, I go to punch them full speed, and they don't even flinch. And the audience is shocked. All right, and then I go to do it to someone who's not in trance, and I go to punch them full speed, and they flinch. And then I go, I'm here now, and then the person flinches. So they see that they do have some kind of reaction. But I bring that up because I'm like, everything you want could be right in front of you. Your brain literally could delete it. No, it could delete it. So we're always hallucinating or deleting things, or we're seeing things that aren't there. We're in a trance. Like people don't. That's the thing with hypnosis is when you don't understand it, you don't realize that you are in a trance 24/7.
Yeah.
The question is the trance taking you to where you should be, or is it constantly showing you the wrong things? And I think you've had this insight where you suddenly started to make more money. You suddenly started to have results with women. So you had results in general. Those results came after there was a mindset shift. You went into some kind of trance, a belief shifted, your perception shifted, and then your actions thereafter also shifted. So that's where it starts. It all starts in your mind, I think.
So it's almost like there is no real objective reality. It's just interpretations that are sensor data it gives us.
Yep.
It's actually sensory data that we get, and then our brain or our mind, our subconscious, unconscious, whatever it is, interprets that and then creates some form of reality. And it's only like real, quote unquote, objectively real to a certain percentage, and the rest is just made up subjectively.
Yeah, exactly. And what I always say is the map, right? In NLP, you say the map is not the territory.
Yeah.
That's another way of saying that. But what I always say is your mindset is not really there to be permanent. Your mindset is there to help you achieve certain goals.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling helpless, a really good mindset to have might be to believe in God. And, whether you could prove it or not, it feels better to believe in God because at least there's something looking out for you, right?
Yeah.
It's less lonely. In a situation where you're in prison, a good mindset would be to think that maybe you like it here. It's fun here. It's good for you. Or another mindset might be, hey, I know I'm going to get out soon. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Whatever that mindset is in that situation that helps you feel better or achieve an outcome. And people get rigid. It's like, no, this is how things are. This is how you perceive them to be. I'll give you a great example. I took a guy who's gay and he's a liberal and he hated Trump. It's 2018. And I hypnotized him and I made him love Trump. I made him straight. I changed his name to Tiffany. His name's Alan. I changed his name to Tiffany and I made him fall in love with a girl in front of him. And he ended up taking my date at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Because he was so straight that he actually took my date. Now, it wasn't permanent because he was in a trance. There was no reason to make this permanent. It wasn't like I was like, hey, this is going to be permanent. I was just shocked to see how far you could go and how quickly. And in a matter of 60 seconds, I made this guy's name change. I made his political association change. I made his sexuality change. And then after that, I was like, wow, there's really nothing that's real. Because the guy was making the exact arguments that any conservative would make in that state. And I was like, this is crazy. And he was thinking like a conservative. He was thinking like he was straight. Even his voice changed back to being straight. It wasn't the gay voicing.
Okay. That's the funniest.
Yeah.
Okay, the voice changed back to being straight. Damn, we were at the gym yesterday, actually, at LA Fitness, and there was a guy with a Trump hat, a Trump 2024, and a lady comes up to him. You told me that, and she's like, "I like your hat," and he's like, "Cause that's because you're normal." and then I saw that guy later, and they kept people coming up to him. He was the fucking talk of the whole LA gym, and we're in California. That's what I'm saying is the fun part.
Yeah,
we're in fucking California, like one of the bluest places on earth. So to speak.
Well, historically, California has always been red up until they let in.
Really?
Yeah, they up until I think 1989, it was red, and then even Arnold Schwarzenegger I think was the last Republican.
Oh, he was Republican.
Yeah,
that's right.
But when you look at it, it's like, well, historically we've been red. The only reason we're not anymore is because they let in all these illegal immigrants, and that's what they're doing now with the rest of the country. They're running back that.
And the illegal immigrants are voting left because that's who let them in?
Because that's who lets them in. That's who doesn't deport them. That's who gives them, free shit, license, all that. So they're like, of course they're going to vote left. It's better for us. But the biggest thing is when you look at the gym, we're not in an area where a lot of illegals live. It's more expensive this area. So the people who are local and actually from the U.S., and from California are going to vote more right-leaning.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What area are we in? Like, what is it known for?
Well, all
your rich people.
That's how. But yeah, so like Jace Derulo lives in this area, Akon lives in this area, Chris Brown. They all live like a few blocks away from here.
Didn't know.
Haven't seen him yet. Yeah, it's big. There's like 7 million people. I think in LA. I think in this area there's like 1 million.
But it's a beautiful fucking area. I took a walk yesterday. Nice October. It's like still really hot, but you can see that it's fall.
Yeah.
And I can see why you fucking live here, man. It's very, very, very nice.
It's nice. And I should take you after the podcast. I'll take you up there. I'll show you the view. There's a hike that goes all the way to Malibu.
Oh, shit.
Straight up from.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. How far do you have to hike?
It's like a 7-mile hike.
That's too long.
It's too. But I'll show you it. Yeah. Can we drive up there? Yeah, we could drive to. I'll show you. Let's do that.
Now, I do have to get 10K steps, but not 7 miles, 10K steps. And I still have to hit the gym because I have to hit it like three more times this week.
Yeah, we'll go after this.
Yeah, cool. And you were just basically you did a personal seminar with a bunch of Russian models?
Yeah, so Russian, Ukrainian models. So pretty much one of my friends has a modeling coaching thing.
Modeling coaching?
Yeah, where she it's called Become a Model. Her name's Sabina. It's called Become a Model USA, and she... if you're from Ukraine or Russia or anywhere and you want to learn how to be a model, you sign up with her and she teaches you everything from runway walking to how to take pictures, how to pose, style, etc. And then these girls come and, they do like retreats. So this is a retreat. I sponsored it. And then I just said, hey, I'll go help them out and talk to them because it was fun. Why not?
Yeah, that's the reason, because it's fun.
Yeah. Man, why not? So I was there in Palm Springs with 73 models and 3 guys.
Damn. It's always funny, the guys that hang out with like 50 models, they're always a little weird. They're always like not titillated by anything. They've seen it all. And they're just very chill with that kind of stuff.
It's very jaded. Yeah. Super jaded. And no excitement. Like the idea is exciting. And then once you're there, it's crazy. It's like a part of your brain turns on and you go, yeah, whatever, it's normal. And then when you look at the memories, you're like, oh shit, look at what I was doing.
Yeah, I've had this many times. We traveled with a bunch of models, and it was at the beginning like, wow, look at all these cute girls.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, it's just like having a bunch of daughters.
Yeah,
and you have to babysit them, and then they have like funny ideas, and then they all fall asleep on the couch, and you're like, okay, that's what it must be like if you just have a bunch of daughters.
Yeah. And then you just think about it. It's like you and your friends now have to come together. You have to make sure you're making enough money. You got to pay for everything. So it becomes more expensive. I went to Mykonos. We went with 40 girls. So I'll tell you the story. In 2021, I see this girl on Instagram. She's super pretty. She's one of the most famous models at the time in Israel. And I'm like, I want to meet this girl. But of course, you can't slide into a girl's DMs like that. She's getting 10,000 DMs a second, right? So I came up with this plot on how I'm going to get this girl to come out the Bahamas. So I end up hiring her for like a shoot to come out the Bahamas. I fly her and her dad out so she has no objections. And I fall in love with her. She falls in love with me. I'm like, great, let's go to Maldives. So 3 weeks later, I'm doing a seminar in Austin, Texas. I was going to fly from Austin to Maldives. And then as I'm about to go on stage, I'm getting the elevator to go down to walk on stage. Like maybe 3 minutes out. She goes, oh yeah, I can't come. I just tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
And I'm like, and I've just spent like fucking 30K on this fucking Maldives trip and I'm not getting a refund, right? And I'm like, damn, I was just so heated. I'm like, right, I'm going to harness this energy and you
Right
get on
before stage, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really hard to get in state. It took everything of my focus to get in the zone. But, you know, when you get into any emotional state, you're opening up this window to the subconscious. So mad, angry, happy, sad, doesn't matter. You open up the window, now you could go in there and you could use it. So I really did have one of my best performances ever on stage because of that. But I was furious at the time. And then anyways, I said, okay, I'll give it one more chance. And I'm like, hey, you want to come with me to Mykonos? Now, I wasn't sure if she's going to flake or not. So I said, okay, I'm going to bring 40 girls and a few of my friends. So I invite 40 models. We fly them out to Mykonos. She ends up showing up.
Nice.
So I didn't end up with any of the models. I was just with her the whole time. And every time, you know, I did the math on the flights. I did the math on the villa. I did the math on yachts. I didn't do the math on the meals. Everywhere we went was like 10K for dinner, lunch. It just wasn't worth it. It was just, I was thinking about it. It's like, you know, as cool as it looks to everybody, there's drama. You got to be a really good leader to be able to tell them, hey guys, don't do this. I'm going to kick you out.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And they test you too. They know. And they smell when you're stressed, when you're tired. Here comes a fucking test.
Yep.
I remember when we were in Dubai with three girls or four? And oh my god, it was so, because they're always fucking late for everything. And we got like a tight schedule. Like, here's where we go to a restaurant. Here's where we're gonna go karting. They're fucking constantly fucking late. There's always some issue like, oh, she broke her fucking
heel or what?
Yeah, or some makeup thingy, and now they have to find something else to do the makeup, and you're just like, let's fucking go. It's so much easier to just travel with dudes because they don't care how they look like, you know.
And then you meet the girls there, and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly, that too. And yeah, but it's again, like, it's funny, it is, but it's very, 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 very stressful. Most guys, for them, that's like the fantasy, like, oh, take a bunch of girls, go somewhere awesome. And reality, it's just a ton of fucking work. I prefer to just go with my best male buddies, and just shoot the shit and do it kind of down low, like have some dinner somewhere.
Or you bring one girl, maybe, you know?
Or exactly, bring your girlfriend or something like that, and your best buddies, and you kind of chill like that.
You know, I remember being in Maldives. I went to the most expensive resort in the Maldives. It's called Senevajani. And I fly out there. It's like 50K a night. I bring these 8 models. And on date...
50K a night?
50K a night.
For everyone together?
No, just for the villa.
But everybody stays in that villa?
Yeah, it was 4-bedroom villa.
Okay.
It's like a mansion on the water.
How did you fit 50 girls in a 4-bedroom?
No, I didn't. It was 8 girls. 9 girls, actually. 9 girls. And 4-bedroom villa.
Oh, I thought 50. Oh, that was the Mykonos.
50K a night.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, no. Mykonos was 40 girls. It was different. Yeah. So this is 2020 in Maldives. 2021 was Mykonos. Anyways, so we're there. On day 2, the girls kind of split up into 2 groups. The group that's like going to be nice, and then the group that started testing me. And I'm like getting ready to go dinner. And suddenly, like, I walk out. I'm ready. I'm like, you guys ready? And they're like, oh, you know, they start complaining. I'm like, okay, look, there's like 2 options. You can say sorry right now for just being a bitch right now, or you could stay home and not eat dinner. And the girl literally goes, well, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you're not getting dinner. I just cut her off, and we left. And they didn't eat that night. The next day, I didn't talk to them. They didn't get breakfast. I didn't talk to them. They came to me at lunch, and they're like, hey, look, we're really sorry, blah, blah. And they became submissive, and then suddenly we had a great time. It ended up being a great trip. But it's almost every single time you bring a bunch of girls on a trip, there's always going to be that test where they have to test you. Like, is this guy really the guy we're going to listen to?
Yeah.
You know, even in Mykonos, I remember we had set up a yacht trip and talked about being late. 20 of the girls had to be late. We left them. We went on the yacht without them. I said, hey guys, if you're late, we're leaving you. All the girls were like, yeah, they're not going to leave us. We're so hot. So yeah. There's 4 guys. There's 40 of you. Trust me, I don't mind letting half of you not come on. And it's cheaper, you know? Yeah. So we left them. After that, everyone was early. All the guys were late. So,
what was the year where you really blew up?
2020.
Was it 2020?
Yeah, you know, I didn't blow up, though, social media-wise. I think I've been progressively blowing up more. This year, I'm starting to actually get a lot of traction social media-wise. Like, I've been blowing up a lot more in the last couple months. Like, my YouTube's been popping off. But in 2020, my mindset changed around money. And I started charging, you know, instead of $1,000 to $2,500, I started charging $20K for one-on-one. And then I charged $25K in the same weekend because someone paid me $20. And they paid me. And then I charged $30K and someone paid me $30. And I was like, I can't stop. And I got addicted to high ticket sales. And then I just did $30K. And then 2021, I upped it up to $55K. And then January 2022, I remember this. I come back. I just broken up with that Israeli girl. I'm like in shambles. My business is falling apart because I had been neglecting it, stressed out with her, traveling. I haven't been here.
Yeah.
And I'm like running out of money. And anyways, I come back. I'm at this house. And I just barely made rent for, my car payments are coming out. I'm like, I'm fucked if I don't make money this month.
And for context, you got a shitload of cars. People are like, you got like, let's hear a list of your cars real quick before we continue with the story.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what that people got to know that about you.
So yeah, I have a Porsche 911 Turbo S cab, 2023. I have a 2024 911 GT3.
Jules is the best.
Yeah, it's sick as fuck. It's
although it's on an RS, it's a stick at least.
Yeah,
it's on RS.
I don't like the RS. The RS is I like stick. The RS doesn't come in stick.
Yeah, I mean the paddle shift is totally sick for racing.
Yeah,
fuck yeah,
it is sick.
But again, you're not gonna race it here now.
If I'm gonna race, I'm gonna take the 765 LT Spider. You know that? So that's a battleship. So 765 LT Spider, F8 Spider, R8 Spider, and then what else?
Alex Ram.
Yeah, I have a TRX. I have a Aston Martin Vantage AMR. It's also stick. And then the Aston Martin DB12 Volante. It's convertible. I'm sure I'm missing something. I just don't know. I don't know what else I'm missing. I'm missing something for sure. But
okay, so all these car payments are coming up.
Yeah, so these car payments are coming up. By the time I had different cars, I get new cars every like 6 months. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. And then the second I came back, I had all this stress with this girl, right? I ended up dating this one girl, and it was just so stressful, so horrible. And I come back, and even though I have all these financial payments coming up, and I had just got a client $55K a month, but my bills are at like almost $170K a month. It's not going to cover it. I said, I don't care. I was just happy to be home. And that stress that I had endured being overseas and not being in my environment or anything, I came home, I felt like a gladiator. I'm like, this is so easy. I'm going to be fine. 7 days into being back. I came back on New Year's Day, 2022. January 1st, I landed. 7 days into being back, I closed my first $1 million a year client.
Sick.
$1 million I closed. And I was like, wow. And that's when I started charging $1 million a year. So I think I started to change my mindset 2020. 2022, I had like a pretty big leap financially. 2021, I had a pretty good year. And then towards the end of the year, I fucked it all up because I was with this girl for the last 4 months. I think I would have done 8 figures 2021, but I stopped at like 6.5 because I just fucked up the last few months.
How exactly did you fuck up? What happened there exactly?
So after Mykonos, I went on with her to Dubai.
Yeah.
She didn't have a visa to the US. I couldn't bring her here. So then I'm in Mexico, and I'm flying in and out of Mexico to do seminars that I had scheduled in the US. Yeah. I'm stressed out. I'm paying for this lifestyle. And then also I have a certain life I have to maintain, like in my mind. I can't be in like some hostel. So I'm also paying for it there. Everything you do, you eat out, right? She didn't know how to cook. I don't cook. So everything's expensive. I spent like $500 a day, not including housing, just on food.
Yeah.
Because I also had 3 other friends with me that I was paying for. So I was just paying for everyone like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be alone. I kind of made my own little environment. I flew my friends out. I'm like, you guys want to come hang out with me in Mexico? Because I just didn't want to be alone there.
Yeah.
And then that just started to add up. And then as soon as I just wasn't feeling safe in Mexico. So we went to Israel at the time. And she flipped. She wasn't the same. Mm-hmm. Suddenly she's going out every night. She doesn't care. I'm like, what am I?
RAS flip.
Not an RAS flip. Just True Colors came out. Suddenly she's with her friends and she's a follower. She cares more about what they think than what I think. Mm-hmm. Also, she never came here. She didn't know what my life is. She didn't know who the fuck she's with. To date, she doesn't know who the fuck I am, Just kind of funny. And then, so first night we're out, I remember in Israel, all her friends are there and they're like making fun of me. Like, oh yeah, you do hypnosis? Yeah.
Oh,
man. No, I just look at them and I go, oh yeah. Where do you live? With your parents? Nice. What car do you drive? Oh, you have a job? No, you don't work? Oh, okay. And I was just like, it's pretty funny. Because in there, they think everyone who come to the U.S., oh, you're in America? You're rich. And everyone's rich in the U.S. They don't realize that you have to work hard. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in America or Europe. Anyway, so long story short, it ended up being stressful. I couldn't tell my parents and my friends. Like, I couldn't talk to anyone about it because if I did, they'd be like, hey, just come home.
Yeah.
And I already knew that was the answer. So I was like, look, I put all this time, energy, and effort. Let me just come to terms with it. I already knew it's done. I just have to come to terms with it. New Year's comes around. And she's just super disrespectful. Like, we're at a New Year's party. She's being, like, horrible. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I just leave her in the middle of the party, go grab my ship from Airbnb. I call my sister. I'm like, get me a flight back home. It gets me the last flight. I had no idea that they're closing the airport.
Oh, shit, that's right.
The last flight out, 2022, January, 7 a.m., January 1st. I fly out last plane, Lufthansa. I get to Germany. I connect to the U.S. I get back. She has no idea I'm even in America for the first 5 days. She was like, oh, he didn't leave. And then, that was it. And I felt so good being home. And I learned my lesson. I said, I will never leave my world for someone else. Like at the end of the day, I built my dreams here. And either your worlds come together or she comes into mine, but I'm not going into hers, ever. It just does not make sense because the whole goal was to bring her here anyways. And it didn't work out. So if it's not going to work out, it's like I felt like I was sacrificing everything I'm building, my dreams, my future, for something that's not worth anything. And reflecting on it, I think I made a really good decision. As hard as it was, I think it was the best decision ever made in terms of leaving. I should have left earlier, but I'm happy I didn't because it gave me a lot more mental. I would say that aged me like 10 years.
Yeah.
In terms of handling stress.
Yeah. And then you came home and you said you realized that, or you stopped caring about money.
You stopped caring about money before, but I when I came home and I didn't have her constantly thinking about, what's going on with this girl, she wasn't on my mind anymore. I was able to let it go because when I left, I came to terms already. I'm like, I know it's done. The second I leave, in my mind, I was good with it.
Yeah.
So because I came to terms with it, it wasn't taking up my mental capital anymore. I just felt like, wow, look at all this freed up mental capital. Look at the fact that I have no stress. I have a support system. I'm seeing my family, my closest friends. Finally, Abdullah's cooking for me again.
The man.
You're sitting in your cars again. You're like, oh yeah. You like remember yourself. But I came back not needing it. Like I didn't realize I was already very confident, but I didn't realize how much of my confidence started to rely on my environment. And having left my environment for so long, I was able to detach from all of it. I'm like, even if I lost it all, I just came from an environment like that. Fuck it. I don't care. And I was able to let go. And that really, I think, was the leap.
That's very interesting that your environment has such a big effect on you. It does have an effect on me too, but more on, it sounds very spiritual, the way you describe your relationship to your environment. For me, it's super practical. It's all just like, I have my frying pan, I got my pillow. And that's why I travel with my frying pan, with my fucking pillow, because I'm like, that's it. And I got my supplements, and now I can, as long as I can have the same routine everywhere. For example, here, I almost have exactly the same routine that I would have in Helsinki or in Cyprus. As I get up, I hit the gym, I can walk, there's sun, I can go outside, there's a sea. Or actually even in Austria where I have a lake instead of a sea. So it's exactly the same. But for me, it's such an ultra practical approach that it doesn't really matter too much in terms of like spiritual or mindset or whatever. It's very interesting to see different kind of perspectives like that,
I view my needs. I love being around close friends. So there's a lot of that like social aspect.
Yeah, true. I noticed that here too.
Yeah. And that's why I don't like to live alone. I like to be around the people I care about. I view like a family,
Yeah.
So for me, that warmth is really important for me because it keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
I mean, how many cars are you going to get? I remember I was in 2020, I'm sitting in my house, my mansion. I was living alone and I had 6 cars in the back and I'm in another mansion and I'm like, I'm not happy. And it's not because I'm not a happy person. I hadn't seen anyone for like 2 weeks. I was sitting there working. Yeah, okay, I made all this money. But like, I was happier when I was broke. Yeah, I just had to reflect. And I'm like, well, I got to make an environment that makes me happy because this is not it.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, it's very, very, you and your best friends that live with you, also your business partners, you're very, very close. I don't have that at all. For me, it's the complete opposite. I mean, obviously, I love and appreciate everyone that I work with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I could never live with other people other than maximum my girlfriend. Yeah. Maximum. I need to be alone. And the reason why I work so well with my girlfriend is because she still loves her work. I keep telling her, you don't need a fucking job anymore. You're good. But she's like, no, I love what I do. So we get up together at the same time, Monday through Friday. She goes to work, and then I'm basically home alone the entire time where I can just work and be by myself. I think that's the only reason why this works.
I think that's also why I have such a big house. Is because it gives you that isolation. Like whenever I don't want to see anyone, I don't. Like there are days where I won't see anyone in the house. And I'm like, you've been here? Yeah, I've been here. Like sometimes you have to call like, hey, is that you that's home? Yeah, I've been home. Did you hear that? No, I didn't hear anything. Like sounds like a bomb went off or something.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that? No, I didn't hear that. And then they call me, what was that? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Where do you go? You just go to your room?
I'll go to my room. Yeah, my room's dope. Or, my office. I'll hang out outside, movie theater. Like, I have a lot of, even in this environment, usually no one even bothers me. We hang out here. Everyone kind of has their own places that they go.
Yeah.
And no one bothers them.
Yeah, that's pretty chill. So you consider yourself an extrovert naturally?
I'm actually more introverted. And I'd rather be isolated. Like even when we were at this thing with all the models, both Alex and I were like, yo, we got to go to our room. Like we got to chill.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like I like to charge the social battery, but I don't need to stay in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Then we're similar in that regard. I know I need to, at the end of the day, I need to chill. At least 1-2 hours just by myself.
Yep.
Especially before going to bed. It's very strange. I need to have that alone time before I go to bed.
I'm the same. Like if I'm around someone all the time or even a friend, I'll start feeling like I need a second. I need to think. I need clarity.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't, like, my energy is directed outwards towards other people. Now it needs to go back to inwards.
Yeah.
Big picture thinking is one of those things that can, for me, only really happen when I'm going inside, when I'm going towards myself.
Yep.
Where I'm really thinking, okay, this is kind of like the stuff that I want to work on. I need that clarity. I can't think clearly when I'm with other people. I know people that can only think clearly in unison with others. I can't have that. For me, it's just a huge, giant distraction. So I love getting input from a lot of people. And then I'm like, okay, I'm taking all this input. I'm locking myself in my room, and now I'm going to process all the input that I got. This was also one of the things, because you and I talked about hypnotizing me, which I'm excited about. Let's so I can do it. And you're like, okay, think about what it exactly is that you want. One of the things that I've really noticed that I've gotten almost trapped in over the last 2-3 years was so much in the operational and just fixing operations and making them better and improving them and tweaking them, that the big picture has almost gotten lost on me. So we're doing super duper fucking well because we're now super tight with all the procedures, all the staff, all the sales and everything. But now I'm like, okay, what's the next? We've done the things we wanted to do in the last 2-3 years, which is optimize everything, crack cold traffic. But now I'm like, okay, what's the next big picture thing that I want to do over the next 5 years? And that's, I think, one sick thing to be hypnotized on or in or whatever it's called.
And I think I could easily help you, because what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs is, if you look at the big picture of everything, right? Let's just say it's like a globe. They start off with the globe and they're like, I have a lot of clarity.
Yeah.
And then you notice there's problems. There's a fire here. There's a fire there. You start zooming in, and eventually you get into the pattern of focus where you're always zoomed in. And if you look at the big picture, sometimes you're like, I'll give you an example. I was doing the same thing with my setters. And then I'm like sitting there, refining the setting, refining it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I just deleted it. I'm like, I didn't even need this, you know? So, but that's because I had to go big picture. I think sometimes in general, even if you look at like the best way to have a good pattern recognition is to see a big picture, to zoom out on the timeline, right? So you're thinking 3-4 years, that's a big timeline, but also 3-4 years back. Like I look at the entire timeline and I look at when did things change? When did they start to improve? When did they stop improving? Okay, were they improving drastically from year to year? Yeah. Why were they improving from year 1 to 3? And then they started to improve again, but then they slowed down. Did they slow down because there was momentum from year 1 to 3? Did they slow down because I stopped focusing on something I should? And I kind of, that's why I like the alone time, because it gives me an ability to kind of look at the mass of the map. You know, like imagine I'm dating someone and I like them. I like to analyze if this is going to be the right fit. And people are like, Marczell, you know, your longest relationship is 3 months. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. Because I'm not going to settle with someone I don't want to be with. You know, so for me, it's like I'm very, very picky. Everything's super high standards, the way my team operates, the way I operate. So when I look at a relationship, even in that alone time, I'll take the time and I'll sit there and I'll go, okay, in this moment, is this person a good fit? Maybe they're temporarily a good fit, but is this a long-term fit? Well, why are they not a long-term fit? And then I'll start to look at the patterns and I look at where they're headed. And then I look, are they improving? Are they trying to work on it? Is it real? Is it fake? You know, and I'll analyze it. And then I come to a conclusion. The second I have clarity, I go, yep. And then I don't wait. Because I'm like, if this isn't going to be with me in the long term, then I don't need to have it now. And a lot of people stay there. They know that, but they stay in the comfort. I think same thing with the operations. You get attached to the weight, the sum cost of having built these things a certain way.
So true.
You lose the flexibility.
Exactly. I mean, there's this whole sunk cost fallacy of like, oh, I've already invested so much money in XYZ, or that person that trained them for so and so fucking long, even though they're not even nearly at the output where they should be.
Yeah.
And then they cannot fire that person. They cannot cut something off that's literally sinking down the entire fucking ship just because force of habit, just because, and then the explanation is always, well, we've always done it that way. It's actually so fucking hard for entrepreneurs to change things that they've been doing for a very long time. And I'm always thinking, like, you're an entrepreneur. Like, you're supposed to innovate. Like, it's your fucking job to innovate and get better and push forward and not be this kind of, like, closed-minded person. But a lot of entrepreneurs, like you said, that's how they start. But then they somehow close their mind off more and more and more, and they become too set in their ways. And that's where you have, you know, old-school entrepreneurs that are still not on fucking social media. You know, they're like, no, we always have the word of mouth. Social media is weird, right?
Well, that's when they get, you know, you have someone newer who's innovating, and they take out the next
They
person.
disrupt, they come in, they're faster in their implementation, they're changing operations faster, they're changing directions faster. It's almost like they're on a speedboat, whereas a lot of entrepreneurs are like on an oil tanker, which takes forever to correct course. And that's always kind of like when you're building a business, especially when you're moving around the 7 to 8 figure mark, we have to realize is like you're always building certain things. and they serve you only for a certain amount of time. And then you got to be this fucking quick to completely destroy anything that doesn't serve you anymore. What got you here won't get you there.
Yep.
Right? So you always got to be like, okay, well, we've got so far with this type of sales structure, with this type of pricing, fuck it. We're going to have different pricing. Like you had it, right? You went from 2.5K to 50K plus, whatnot, 1 million, and so on and so forth. It's like, okay, well, it served us so far. And it's fucking scary too, once you have employees, once you got a brand, and so on and so forth, because you're like, okay, well, now it's not just me, where I could, whatever, I can just downscale my own living expenses for a while, maybe, move to a cheaper place and handle it. No, now you got employees, and they have families, and they need to be fed, and so on and so forth. So it's really fucking scary, but, that's what you fucking sign up for. You signed up by becoming an entrepreneur. You signed up to experience the unknown. You signed up to being under pressure. You signed up to having to continuously innovate. That's fucking normal. If you can't do that, go fucking invest in crypto and hope it blows up. That's basically all you can do. Go invest in fucking shitcoin, Doink or whatnot, or fucking Doge, and hope it goes up. And the thing is too, then, I love that Andrew Tate quote. Shit on Andrew Tate as much as you want. He said, look, money is an amplification of who you are, right? If you're eating shit through entrepreneurship, you're forced to become charismatic, you're forced to become a leader, you're forced to understand marketing, sales, train a team, and all that shit, and then you start making money as a result of that. Now, all those character traits become amplified, right? Your resistance to stress, amplified. Your character, amplified. Your charisma, amplified. Leadership, amplified. All this gets amplified. If you just get fucking lucky, whether that's with a lucky fucking offer that is just super sexy for a year and a half and you make whatever, 10 million, or you're fucking investing in dink doink, Bitcoin, whatever. I got a lot of money in Bitcoin and Ethereum myself, but it's just more toy money that I throw in to see what happens. But like, imagine you put all your savings in that and you happen to blow up. Now you're just an idiot with a lot of money. Like, you have zero experience, zero understanding, zero character strength, and you put money on that, it just amplifies you being a fucking moron.
Yeah, and then you become degenerate. You go spend it on bullshit,
You're going to waste it anyways, exactly.
Yeah. I look at entrepreneurship like a game. And the game is, how quickly can you problem solve, and how good are you at predicting the future based on what's happening right now? And I think the best entrepreneurs are good at predicting the future. So in 2020, when I blew up, one of the factors was, hey, COVID comes in, you can't do seminars, you can't see people in person, what are you going to do? And I'm like, okay, we're going to Zoom. And Zoom wasn't popular at the time. True. At the beginning of 2020, February, when I started this, Zoom was not popular. And I said, okay, I have Zoom and I have FaceTime. And I said, okay, what do I need to do to supplement the income and the lifestyle? I said, well, one, I need to charge way more because I'm not big and I don't get that many leads. I would have, at least throughout 2020, I would have maybe 2 to 3 leads a month that were actually qualified enough to pay me that, or close to that.
How did you get those first leads?
It was straight up just Instagram, just posting 20 fucking stories a day. And then the few people that followed me were really hot and they got really warm. And then they would do something once, like I would get one guy every couple of weeks that would do it and respond. Now I have, hundreds of DMs a day. People and that's a big thing too, is I look at my engagement, I go, how many people have fake followers in this industry? I'm like, bro, I walk on the street with you and I get stopped every 3 seconds. We were at Ty Lopez's house. Yeah. You're getting stopped every few seconds. I couldn't move 2 feet. That's one of the biggest reasons I left, was because I couldn't move around. People kept stopping me. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's not that I don't mind it. It just, I was like, well, I kind of don't like getting swarmed every 3 seconds, So the biggest thing is, like, I look at my brand then, I just had 2, that's why I got good at sales. It's like I either close this guy or I don't make my bills. So I had to close everybody no matter what. And I only had 1 or 2 opportunities and I'd make sure they show up. Yeah. I got really good at making sure they show up. I'd make sure they picked up the phone. I got good at following up. I got fucking amazing at closing. And then retention. Because I didn't have much. So I had to become the best I could. And that's what made me really good. And then now I have this abundance of leads and I go, holy shit, like, now it's different. Now it's like, how do I transfer that skill over to the team? But when you look at innovating, I was like, what am I going to do? Zoom, 10x my business. I remember the exact income. I made $23,085 January 2020. February, I made $25,000, almost on the dot. And then March, I jumped up to like in my statement, it shows 45K, but I closed 75K. And then it jumped down to 30 because I got lazy. And then it went up to 60, then 80, then 120, then 180, then 220, all by September or, October. And I was like, wow, I just totally 10x'd. But I 10x'd because of and it wasn't, I had some salespeople, but it wasn't the salespeople. It was just genuinely me getting more refined, getting better. And only recently, I would say, as everything started to change, because now I see the pendulum swinging back in the other direction. So I feel like I started this at the worst time. I blew up at the hardest time to blow up in terms of income. If we're looking at that metric. But now I'm like, oh, this is a cakewalk. Like I literally just went through boot camp for the last 4 years. I went
Yeah.
and suddenly, like, now personal development's back. Everyone likes it. Everyone is interested in, oh, hey, this guy's been around forever. And this guy's got a disrupting mechanism that no one's ever heard of. Like, oh, hypnosis. Who the fuck uses hypnosis?
Yeah. It's so also, hypnosis is so fucking old school. It's so like 1980s, 90s. And when I first heard about you, I'm like, hypnosis? Like that thing still a thing? Is that still a thing? But you said it's a fucking pendulum. It came back, right? Like if you had done this in the 90s, everybody would have been sick and tired of hypnosis. They'd all be like, yeah, whatever. It's just some tele preacher that would do hypnosis. But now, like, I haven't seen anybody talk about hypnosis in fucking years.
Yeah.
And then you're doing hypnosis. I'm like, really? What?
And I'm not just doing it. The style I have is so different than anyone else, because you have like hypnotherapy and then you have stage hypnotism. I've combined the two and I've become the best in the world at doing it. Like if someone wants a massive change. So the deepest state of hypnosis is called somnambulism. Most hypnotherapists would be like, it doesn't matter how deep you go. It's total bullshit. It matters extremely. It's so fucking important, actually, that if someone isn't deep enough, you're not going to get a certain change, or it's not going to be permanent. I've gotten amazing at getting someone into the deepest state. It's called somnambulism. It quite literally stands for sleepwalking. So if you look up the definition, somnambulism, sleepwalking. If you can get someone into a somnambulistic state, you could change their life in 3 seconds, and you could stack it with anything you want. And as a matter of fact, it's so impressive how powerful the mind is. I'll say, hey, when I say this word, you do this. When I say this word, you do that. They will remember everything I said times 30. If I say 30 different things, they will literally, I could write it down just to prove the point of how impressive it is. And it's just, a subconscious mind is so crazy powerful. But that's the only way, that's the only window into it without any disruption. Like somnambulism is that. So what makes me so good is the speed at which I get someone there, and then how I use it and utilize it for a permanent change. Most people can never even get someone there. There's about 20% of the population that can go there easily, and the other 80% is a lot harder. I can get 100% of people into that state no matter what.
What makes the 20% easier? What do they have in different than from the 80%?
They're just more open. I think they're just genetically, there are parts of the mind that make it easier for someone to go into trance. But also there's belief systems, where they grew up, how they grew up, how their parents are, how they took in information early on, and then if they were rewarded for being in trance. Like some people are so zoned out all the time that they just go into that.
What do you mean they're rewarded for being in trance?
So imagine you're in like a tough environment. You have to disassociate.
Yeah.
So you feel good when you disassociate.
Okay.
So hypnosis is a focused state of relaxation or focused state of disassociation.
So people like that are easier to hypnotize?
Yes. As long as they trust you.
Yeah, you said that earlier, that like some people have their guards up and it will be more difficult. What exactly do you mean by guards up, and how do you deal with that?
So if your guard's up, then you're using your entire conscious attention to not let me hypnotize you. The thing is, your conscious mind is so weak, it's literally shit. Like I make everyone in my seminar say it out loud. My conscious mind is a piece of shit because it doesn't do anything. So it can only process about 150 bits of information every second. Subconsciously, you process anywhere from 40 to 50 million every second. So my subconscious mind has done this tens of thousands of times. I just talk to you, tell you to do this, use misdirection, do a couple pattern interrupts. Your conscious mind's overwhelmed, and then I hypnotize you, which most hypnotherapists cannot.
What do you mean pattern interrupts to overwhelm the conscious mind? How exactly does that work?
You could do things really subtly. For example, I'll walk up to someone and be like, so funny. Excuse me. Like you put your hands up, like you act innocent. You flash your eyebrows, see if they flash their eyebrows back, which is a
sign of compliance.
It's a sign of compliance. Also, it immediately creates rapport. Like eyebrow flash, 95, 96% of the population will respond. So you see someone with a lot of lines in their forehead. Usually it's because they're doing this.
Because they're very compliant people.
Or they're very empathetic.
Yeah.
A narcissist will have no lines in their forehead whatsoever, right? So
I love it.
You smile and you go, hey, and they go, like, you see the reciprocation, and you go, I'm so sorry, I left my contacts at home. Can you tell me what time it is? And then go ahead and look at them, just close your eyes. That's a pattern interrupt, right? And then
wait, okay. So you ask them, can you look at my watch, tell me what time?
Yeah. So
as they're looking, you tell them to close their eyes?
Yeah. Immediately, hey, can you just look at, wait, really quick. You just go ahead and close your eyes. Yeah, perfect. Now just imagine your eyes are so heavy, so relaxed, and then you just, boom, you go to sleep.
Or it's still, wait. Do you have footage of shit like that on the street? You gotta do that.
Of me on YouTube taking a selfie. This is 2019. And, no one has the balls to do this. And this is why I say I'm the best in the world. I was doing shit that no one else.
So we gotta shoot. We have these Ray-Ban glasses, right? We gotta do that again. Just walk down the street and just fucking with the Ray-Ban glasses.
I'm super down to do it. I can even wear the prescription Ray-Ban glasses and say shit like that, like just because it's even more of a pattern. So, hey, I forgot my contacts in them. No shit, you're wearing fucking glasses, And then that was so good. Another example is on YouTube. I have a video where I take the selfie camera. And it's on, and I'm like, hey, and I like walk up kind of confused. I'm like, excuse me, like I stop them. So compliance, I rotate around them. So that's motion tracking, automatically goes to like the mammalian part of the brain, already putting them in a trance and taking up most of their conscious attention. So I've just overwhelmed the conscious mind instantly, and it's a pattern interrupt. And I go, I can't tell, is this recording? Like, yeah, go ahead and look at that right there. Just close your eyes. Close your eyes. Yeah, close them. It's fine. Close them. And then they close them, and then boom,
It's probably also a lot of in the tonality, because the way you say it is so natural.
Yeah, it's got to, that's
like, excuse me, just close your eyes real quick.
Yeah.
Because you don't like, and now close your eyes. That wouldn't work.
No, you just, exactly. No, you're doing everything like, everything has to blend into reality.
Yeah.
That's what makes it covert, right? And that's what makes me so good. Like, I'm able to walk into a room and unconsciously, for other people, they don't know what it is, but there's something that gravitates them towards me. There's something that makes them want to look. There's something that suddenly, imagine you're sitting across from someone, and before you know it, they start to breathe the same way you breathe. They start to do what you do. They don't even know you yet, and yet their unconscious has been locked in on you and paying attention.
Yeah.
And by the time you walk up to them, they're like, have we met before? Because you've gotten to rapport with them. I'll sit across from someone at a table, and I show this to my friends. I'm like, look, I'm going to walk up there in like 10 minutes. And I just wait for her to drink her drink, and then I'll drink her drink with her. I'll breathe at the pace she breathes, and then I'll test it. Before I go up, I'll take a sip of my drink. And if she takes a sip, and then you also see everyone else inside of her group take a sip, because she's probably the leader of the group, right? Or whoever the leader is, they take a sip, and then everyone else does. So you could see that. And then suddenly you do it, she does it, and you go, great, now we're in rapport. She doesn't even know me. But unconscious, I'm in rapport with her. I can go hypnotize her. I can do whatever I want.
No shit.
Because in that state, her mind is already locked in on me.
Yeah.
And there's just so much you can do. I mean, covert hypnosis is probably one of the things I'm best in the world at. I mean, I'm the best hypnotist in the world, period. Inductions, putting people in, and covertly doing things. There's no one slicker than me. There's no one better than me. No one does it more charming. Like, you know how you know you're a good hypnotist? No one even knows you're doing it. And you don't even have to close their eyes. That's just to show off. Like, I have a video of me walking up to a random guy at the mall, and I picked him because he was the only one walking around. And I go, excuse me, I can ask you one more question. And that makes his brain go, yeah, sure. He'll say automatically, yeah, sure. But then his conscious mind goes on a hike and says, what question has he asked me? Have I met him? Like,
yeah.
Starts going through all these things. And I put my hand out to shake his hand, unconscious process. And I go, hey, go ahead and look at your hand and just sleep. And I knock him out. And then I start testing him, like, hey, you're stuck to the ground. I see he's stuck. I'm like, good, he's in trance. And then I go, okay, sleep. You just forget that. Now give me your wallet and your keys, everything in your pockets. And he starts coming out of trance. I notice it. And I'm like, you just forget that happened. Give me your wallet. Just give me your wallet. It's on video. And give me your wallet and keys. And he takes it out of his pocket. And I'm like, you just forget that happened. Now walk in that store. Forget that happened. He walks in that store. And I'm like, hey, by the way, I think you dropped this. And he goes, in his pockets. Oh, yeah, I guess I did. And then I show him the video. And then he's pissed off. You see him literally look at the video like, how did this happen? So no one in the world has done that. Like, there's nobody who's doing videos like that. There's no one proving that. I did that back when I was 19. I'm 26. I'm so much more skilled now. It's not even funny.
But dude, to be fully honest here, okay, fully honest, I think this is fucking hilarious and epic, okay?
Yeah.
This is and really fucking epic. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, well, if that really works so easily.
Yep.
For example, you said that earlier where your girlfriend back then started behaving disrespectfully. Why couldn't you just hypnotize her to be nicer?
I could. I just didn't. Because for me, I don't want to be with someone who's in trance to like me. I feel like it's fake.
Have you tested it before? This is now a pain in the ass. I'm hanging out I'm stuck here with this girl for a weekend or an hour.
I mean, you could do it, but the thing is, imagine a girl then goes, oh, he hypnotized me to sleep with him or something. The liability is just so big.
Okay.
It's not even worth mixing. If I ever hypnotize someone, I won't even sleep with them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Can I theoretically do it? Yeah. Could I covertly do things? Yes. But then I feel like, well, what's the line then? Like, where's the line of ethics? There's a line.
So all that keeps you from using this quote unquote power It's just your own moral compass. That's all.
If someone was as good as me at what I do and had no morals, they would be one of the most dangerous human beings in the world. I could get someone to drain their bank account on the phone with me. Empty every dollar in your bank account you give to me. And you're going to pay me, and you're going to sign a piece of paper and give me 30% of your business. Like, I could do that. I don't, but I could. Like, anyone with this knowledge, that's the thing. So I'm really picky too with what I teach. I don't teach everything. I only teach things that give people enough of a framework. But to do that too, let me give someone clarity. It's not just about being skilled. There's a lot more that goes into something. There's priming, there's communication, there's follow-up, there's things that you do prior to that that could create that. And I'm only saying things like this because forget what I do. There are people who are doing shit right now who don't have a moral compass, who are doing things, internationally, politically, that are really bad. And they're using these tools to do that, and the government wouldn't have spent $250 million on it if they didn't think it was so effective.
What do you mean they spent $250 million?
MK Ultra, all these different things were PSYOPs, Project Paperclip, all these different, top secret programs.
Project Paperclip was when they imported Nazi scientists,
yes,
to do rocket research.
Yeah, and
that's
part of what they did. They also, and they deny this, but part of that is also they take monkeys and they would cut off the top of their skull and attach wires to their brain and use electricity to see if they could change behavior. And they could. And then they said, well, could we wirelessly do this? Now, this sounds like a conspiracy, and maybe it is, but if I were the CIA and I were to pick someone who could literally help me rule the world, I would make them pretty rich, maybe the richest person in the world. I would make them start a car company that...
Nah, man.
Wait, I'm not done. Just wait. Okay, I'd make them start a car company. It's the biggest car company in the world. And you get in that car at the push of a button. It's just a computer. I could make the car stop. I could make it do whatever I want. I could make it record all the data. Everything inside and outside has mics and cameras. I'd own 1/3 of all the satellites that exist in the world, and they're all internet access. I would also...
Oh, man.
I would also get a chip that goes into people's brains and normalize it to where I could just now influence you. I would do all of that. And then I would also take one of the biggest platforms, free speech platforms in the world, call it free speech, and still do whatever the fuck I want on it and push whatever agenda I want on that. I'm just saying, like, theoretically, if someone wanted to be, if I were them, that's what I would do. And I would create a plot. And then I would also have them run space agencies and rockets. Now, it sounds outlandish, but I'm just saying, like, if someone were able to do it, it would be him. And
so you think Elon Musk knows how to hypnotize people?
I don't think you need hypnosis. I don't think you need hypnosis. I think, you just need to put a chip in someone's head and you can control them.
But why did they pick him then? Because you said if the guy
they pick him, they pick Taylor Swift, right? He just is smart. He's smart. He's innovative.
Fuck, man.
Now
we're going real deep down the rabbit hole, man.
Yeah, not
real deep down.
I mean,
why haven't the CIA recruited you?
I would never do it.
Or maybe they have.
I would.
Maybe it's their plan to have you meet me and be on this random fucking podcast with 3,000 subscribers and be like, yeah, no, we're gonna make him look like he's against us, but he's a psyop.
No, I don't even want to get in politics ever. I don't want to be involved. All I want to do is just help people. That's all I care about. I want to stay in my little circle. I'll stay in my lane. They go do their thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to innovate in personal development.
But that's what they said to you, that you have to say that in order for us to drop our guards.
I think most of the people in the CIA are retarded. Like,
of course, like any government agency.
Well, no, I'm not saying like they can't do what they need to do. They're not trained that way. And they're definitely not as skilled, but there are people who are very skilled. And those people are very dangerous.
Yeah. So do you think you could get into trouble by saying shit like that once you have a big enough platform?
I mean, yeah, once you're big enough, if you keep talking about it, I'm sure.
I mean, they could fuck you up pretty easily. They're like, yeah, this again, like you said, like put a girl there, have her claim you hypnotized her.
Yeah, they could do whatever they want. I mean, they could ruin your life. If they wanted to ruin my life, they could do it. There's nothing I can do about it.
Well, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Because look, you're quite out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have the girls, you show the cars, you show all that. You know what I mean? Like you're not like let me be kind of underground, do my thing, and quote unquote try to get away with it. No, you're in your face. You're in everybody's fucking face.
Yeah, I'm so transparent about my life. Everything's honest. That's the thing. You gotta respect. Like I always say, don't go fucking thinking you're David fighting Goliath. It's not Goliath, and Goliath always wins in this, in this story. Like you're not gonna win.
So if you're not David, who are you then?
I'm unrelated. You just respect it. It just is what it is. You're not gonna win. Like I'm not, at least. Maybe someone else is. I'm not powerful enough, and I don't want to be powerful enough to where I go head to head with them. I want to stay in my lane. Here's my mission. My mission is not to get involved with what anyone else is doing. My mission is genuinely just to help people become more confident, improve in their life. I just find this stuff super fascinating. I love the science behind it. I love the psychology behind it. They spent hundreds of millions in research. I just like to use the research to get better at what I do.
Yeah.
I find it super, super interesting. I'm just saying, like, the conspiracy aspect is, as wild as what I just said is, if you tie in all the dots, he could theoretically be, one of the cooler people.
100%. I mean, that's what fucks me up so much with these type of conspiracy theories, because I'm like, if you do think about it, it's pretty possible,
It's possible.
Fuck, now I'm fucking thinking about this.
I mean, you even said, there's no way at the beginning. All I did is, also, if you think about, you want to go a little bit deeper, you go, well, Trump, 2016, he wins. They make you hate him. They push, what happens in 2020. And now suddenly they're pushing for him to win again. And who's one of his biggest advocates and even somehow going to be in some kind of government agency or...
Yeah.
Him?
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk, they say he wants to be the Minister of Treasury or whatever the fuck. What is it called?
I don't know what it is.
US.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is, but I do know that he is pushing for him to win again, right? So the pendulum's swinging back into the direction. But the reason is because they moved the Overton window. So now things that were not okay in 2016 are way okay because they're normal, because they're so, for the last fucking, 8 years, we've been dealing with people saying, a man's a woman, a woman's a man, just some crazy shit, which is all hypnosis.
Pregnant.
Yeah, just nuts, all this stupid shit. I remember actually 2008, I was at Hurricane Harbor. It's a water park here. And I saw a magazine, The World's First Pregnant Man. And I asked my mom, like, how is that possible? She goes, it's not really a man. It's a woman that,
dresses up like
a man. And I asked her, I just remember this conversation. I asked her, I said, well, why are they sharing that? Like, what's the point? Well, the point is 2008, they're already plotting this stupid fucking agenda, It started already. They're testing the waters. It's kind of like a creative, like when you run an ad, let's just test this. Oh, wow, it got traction. Let's scale it up.
Bruh,
That's
to
propaganda.
go full on nut job here. It was exactly the same with all these pandemics. Remember fucking SARS
and swine flu.
The swine flu. Before it, we had, I don't know what it's called in English. It was BSE. It was the mad cow disease.
Yeah,
I remember that in the fucking 90s. So like a full tinfoil hat. That's them testing. Like, oh, let's just come up with some shit. Let's see how crazy people go. Tested it, BSE, pretty hardcore. Swine flu, pretty hardcore. SARS, pretty hardcore. COVID, now those motherfuckers are ready. Now we got all the little ships in place, right? Like you're playing ship sinking. What it's
people
called?
all responded. You primed them. It wasn't too big of a deal.
Exactly.
So now this one's a really big deal. What shit?
Now let's go. Now let's go. We got it, guys. We got a fucking winner. Just like when you're testing ads.
Yeah, but now they can't run that again. So what play can they run? There's one play everyone listens to. What is it?
What do you mean?
Like they can't run that play again. The disease.
Oh,
play.
I'm sure they can again. I'm sure they're like,
No,
we've already proven that people can go nuts. We can take all their freedom away. Yeah, they don't even care. Let's do it again.
In Europe, in the US, it's not gonna work.
You sure?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I still see people running around with masks.
Yeah,
especially here.
But they're weak people. Those are people who are just virtue signaling. They don't actually care. Those are the people that are just like, oh, look at me. I'm still like righteous. I'm better than you. It's the narcissist.
Yeah.
I'm better than you because I have a stupid fucking mask. Yeah, whatever. It's so stupid.
It's the MAGA hat equivalent of the lefties.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't think it'll work here though because everyone doesn't trust that. But what will work is what's one play that's been since the beginning of time? Happening now.
I don't know, foreigners, terrorism,
war.
Yeah, war.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. So I mean, as we speak right now, Iran's attacking Israel as we speak, and there was actually a terrorist attack in Tel Aviv. 6 people got shot
2 hours ago, man.
Yeah,
2 hours ago they dropped rockets on that shit.
Well, they're still dropping rockets, and 6 people were shot dead in Tel Aviv today as well.
In Tel Aviv?
Yeah, some terrorists came and shot some innocent. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's happening, right? So here's the propaganda again. But look, if I'm the U.S. and I give Israel $6 billion. What do they use $6 billion for? Weapons. Where do they buy the weapons from? An American company. The American company buys our politician. Politicians send them money, start the war. The foreign country comes back, spends all that money back with the American company. It's just laundering tax dollars.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're going to take tax dollars and we're going to blame it on a war.
Yeah.
It's just them stealing, right? It's all it is.
Okay. So, number one, this podcast, not just this episode, but my podcast has gotten so conspiratorially over the last couple of episodes. We had Sterling Cooper, we went fucking nuts. Yesterday we had Michael Sartain. I was straight going. Because Michael Sartain, everybody knows him as like, girls, social circle, bikini contest, and the first thing I'm asking was like, let's talk about Ukraine and Russia. I think we went on a 45-minute tangent. So I love it. We're literally turning into like a nut job conspiratorially / business podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, and business, by the way. So, but I'm going to ask you the same that I asked Sterling and that I asked Michael Sartain. How much of that do you think is, so when we look at warmongering, woke agenda, yada, 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 okay, how much of that do you think is an evil elite plotting and scheming that and being like, okay, now we're going to get the woke agenda out, versus how much of that is just opportunistic companies, right? For example, companies saying, well, there's some shit going on in Israel again, let's do some lobbying and let's sell some money, let's make some money. All right. How much of that do you, in your opinion, just personal opinion, because I asked everyone that, how much of that do you think is pre-planned, elite, blah, 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 versus just opportunistic people, companies just wanting to make money?
I think there's a combination of both, but I also think that people are missing the fact that they're just running the same plays over and over and over again. Nothing is new here. People think this is all new. Oh yeah, they're going to a one world government. No, they're not. First of all. Second of all, they're like, oh, look at the World Health Organization. What power do they have? They don't have power. They're not a country. So why do we talk about them? Like, it's just like, hey, look at this puppet over here while we continue to do everything else here. Right? The U.S., Russia, and you look at Iran, it's like you got these two different cultures, two different powers. They've been fighting for the same shit, same power, same resources over the, since World War II. And even before that, you had imperialism, World War I. It's just fighting for resources for the country, trade, who becomes the dominant power. And that's all they're trying to do. So when you look at Russia, Russia's trying to become more dominant in the region. And the U.S. is like, no, we're just going to fund this proxy war. We're going to get a bunch of money. Yeah. And we're going to cripple you over time. And then Russia starts making a lot of noise because it's like an empty shell. Everyone thought it was this major superpower, but really it's not. Yeah. And regardless, you're looking at North Korea, Russia, Iran. Iran fired, tens of thousands of rockets to Israel? Okay, great. You know what they found out? They found out that the anti-Mossad, which is like their intelligence, in Israel.
I read that today.
The head of them was a fucking Mossad agent. The top 20 fucking officials were Mossad agents, and I guarantee, Israel is just they're playing goddamn chess. Look at what happened in Lebanon.
They're really fucking good at it.
They're the best. They're just really fucking smart. It's crazy.
Has that been confirmed that really the head, what's his name? I forgot.
I don't know, but they'll literally never.
Because I remember hearing about him 10 years ago in the news. And then it turns out this motherfucker was a Mossad agent?
Yeah.
What's his fucking name?
I don't know.
Cool that.
So the head agent. So the Ayatollah of Iran is actually hiding right now because he's so fucking terrified. They literally in 1 week killed anyone important in Hezbollah.
Yeah.
Right? They literally said, oh, you guys want to fuck with us? Here. So for 11 months, they don't respond. 11 months, they don't react. They're firing rockets. And everyone's like, why isn't Israel doing anything? Why isn't Israel doing anything? Because they're fucking playing chess.
Yeah.
Right? And anyways, the whole point is, I look at all of these things. It's always, they're not the biggest population. They're not, and you should have the U.S. backing them. But Joe Biden said even in the 80s, he said Israel was the best investment we ever made as a country. It's like, obviously, you talk about, oh, we're not supporting Israel, we're supporting Israel. It's like, whether you say you support it or not, Israel's fucking backed by the U.S. Israel literally is a U.S. It's the U.S. in the Middle East. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And however you want to frame it, it doesn't matter. I just look at all of it. It's like, oh, Jews, Muslims, this, that. It's like, look, it's all noise. It's all a distraction. All of it's nonsense. You look at what happened October 7th. Would have never happened if they didn't want it to happen. There's no way. I talked about this on Instagram, went viral. It's like you got guys on power paragliders. You got guys on old fucking Toyotas. You got slow piece of shit cars. You got outdated weapons. You got all this versus an advanced military with some of the most advanced intelligence in the world. Okay, in 2016, they waited for all of Hamas to go underground in tunnels and then blew up tunnels, killing 16,000 of them at once. 16,000 of them at once. You're telling me someone on a fucking fence, where if a cricket jumps on the fence or near the fence, you have soldiers alerted. You weren't aware of the most, like, the easiest fucking invasion ever. And for 8 hours, the military doesn't respond or do anything. You're just letting them kill people, kidnap people. And then you're like, oh, look, we're going to let them kidnap people because people aren't seeing this. Here, let me tell you what's happening. Oh, look at all these people who got kidnapped. Why do you care about the people who got kidnapped? Because you know they're fucking stupid. That's the problem with Hamas. They're fucking stupid. They're really stupid. We're going to kidnap these people and give a propaganda/moral justification for going to war with you motherfuckers for the next year. And then we know that Lebanon's going to get involved. We know Iran's going to get involved. We know the Houthis are going to get involved. We know all of them are going to. They already knew this is going to happen. They're not stupid. They're just like, look at all the money we get to launder, and look at the fact that we get to fucking crush it. We get to fucking destroy that part of the region, and they act weaker than they are. Like, for the beginning, like, oh, look, we're taking tons of losses. And all right, but we're also a moral army. It's like, at the end of the day, there's no moral war. I don't care who you are, but Hamas is so stupid. And you think Israel didn't allow them to come in? Oh, we didn't let that. That was an intelligence failure. It wasn't an intelligence failure. It was an intelligence plan. If you talk about planning, that's a plan.
Yeah.
Right? All of it's a plan. Everything you're seeing here, that's why the U.S. and Israel and, this side of the world is just so much more advanced. Everything they do is planned. Like, you think that, oh, yeah, the administration doesn't know what they're doing. They're just letting in immigrants.
Yeah.
No, they're running the same plays they ran in California, which was a red state for the longest time until they let in all these illegal immigrants. And now they're like, let's run it back. Everything they do is intentional. Like, people don't know that. They're like, oh, they're incompetent. It's not incompetence. It's intention. Everything that's happening. You think Joe Biden's an idiot. I saw a video of him the other day. He took because he's pissed that they took fucking presidency from him and put Kamala in there. He took a Trump hat and he signed it and he wore it.
No shit.
Yeah, he did that. And,
but maybe he's just fucking senile.
No, he's not. He's senile to be president, but he's not senile. He's still sharp enough to know what's going on. He's still sharp enough to see the humor, right? He still sees all of it. He's been very funny. As a person, he's a funny guy. As a president, he's horrible, but it's not him. He's just the puppet. He's just the face.
Yeah.
Right? That runs the agenda that everyone else wants, and all the people that sponsor him, that are dangerous, that do. Because if he doesn't do it, they'll just assassinate him.
Yeah.
Right? So the whole point here is everyone's looking at the world the wrong way. You're looking at it through the lens of accidents, or you're looking at it through the lens they want you to look at it. Oh, this person they're just bad, so we go to war. It's like, yes, Hamas is bad, but who put Hamas in power? Who give Iran $4 billion fucking dollars to go fund all these terrorists? Who put, who helped Hezbollah? Even Alex Jones.
Who did?
The U.S. All the money goes to Iran.
Oh shit!
Why did $400 billion in cash handed to Iran from the Obama administration? You're telling me these weren't all plots? These weren't all planned out? This isn't like all these 2005, Hamas is formed. 2008, Barack Obama's in office. He's in office for 2 terms. $400 billion plus, God, that's only what we heard about. What else did he give them that we didn't hear about?
Here's what my take is on that, okay? I prefer to believe that not all of this is a fucking conspiracy and this is all planned. That's one hand, okay? Other hand, there is a chance that it is. Here's the trick, though. This is my personal opinion. Whether that is 100% conspiracies or not doesn't fucking matter, because the outcome for you as an individual, me, you, people listening to this, is always the same. Pack your fucking shit, make a ton of fucking money, and make sure that you're in a position where your income is as much in control as it can be, meaning have your own business, don't be dependent on an employer, have multiple bank accounts in multiple different countries so nothing can fucking happen to you.
Yep.
Make as much money as you can. No, I did not say make $5,000 a month and then live in fucking Bali thinking you're cool and pat yourself on the shoulder. I'm saying make so much money that if push really comes to shove, you can move to any country in the world, live very comfortably, and you can do that not only for yourself, but for your spouse, your children, your future children, your parents, and all the other friends and loved ones. That's how much money you should make. People always ask me, Max, how much money is comfortable? Or when did you realize you fucking made it? I'm like, I didn't fucking make it yet. I make it when everybody has a fucking shit ton of money that is around me, all my employees, all my team members, all my clients, and we can all go wherever the fuck we want. If another COVID hits, right? That's a relatively mild scenario. COVID hits, okay, you don't want restrictions. You know what? Do what I did. Go to Iceland, go to Ukraine, go to fucking Cyprus while everybody else was in fucking lockdown. You had the fucking time of your life. Go do that. So whether that is of conspiratorial nature and it's planned, or it's just random and it's just opportunistic bullshit that happens to all happen at the same time, it doesn't matter. The end result for you is always go make money, go make it independently, go make enough so you can take care of yourself, your family, and your loved ones. And only then you have true freedom. Because a lot of people say, well, I just need to make a little bit of money, then I'm free.
Yep.
The banker doesn't have freedom because he can't fuck off. In fact, the banker would go to a single meeting in his fucking shorts. You probably get fired. You don't even have freedom of what you put on your body. That's crazy. The doctor doesn't have freedom. He has freedom on the fucking weekend, the one fucking weekend a year that he has. That's where he can go wherever the fuck he wants. The true freedom is you're building a business, you're making money independently of anyone and anything, and also you're building a personal brand on top of that where you're not fake, where you are yourself, you're focusing on something that works, and you're doing it in a long-term manner, so you love doing it, you get inspired by doing it, even if you don't have results right away. That's kind of like the fucking key, and that's always what I've looked at, because I love, you made a lot of really good points, logically, but then at the same time, I also like, I don't even want to fucking invest time into really figuring it out, because the outcome is the same anyways. Go make money, build your own business, and fuck off.
Yeah, on an individual level, do we feel like we're at war right now? Are there rockets over? It's beautiful outside. Nothing changed here. You know what I mean? Individual level, my life is the same. I think on a more, on the final point there, just think of it this way. If you were spending billions or trillions of dollars, would you spend it on accident? So if it's intentional or not, you tell me, and whether they want you to think it's not intentional and stupid, they're not.
Man, yeah.
That's just the most logical way to look at it is you check where you're spending $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. What if you're spending billions? Where you're going to be checking? You're going to be checking, right?
Oh, you're right. They're not going to spend it on accident. These fuckers.
But the only reason you should know it is because that's what gave me the foresight in 2020. And that's what allowed me. I had other friends who were hypnotists and coaches. All of them went out of business. All of them. And if they didn't, they're just years behind me. And they're stuck in the same pattern. They're making less than they were in 2020. They're talking about, remember the good old days? I'm like, but what are you talking about? It's been 4 years. What are you fucking talking about?
These are the good old fucking days, man.
Yep. And another point you brought up, which I love, is the authenticity. My brand is built on me. This is what I am. This is what I love. This is what I fucking do. I see all these other brands. People take pictures of other cars, fake jets, not fake jets, but not their jet, not their car, rental. It's like when I take a picture, people are like, oh, these are rental cars. First of all, most of my cars are rare as fuck. You cannot rent them. And the specs I have, they're always the same. Always the same car. And I always go buy a new car and I film it and I post it. The idea, though, is who are you following? There are so many people in this industry. You're either going to be you, people are going to like you for you, or you're going to have to pretend forever. And then you're not actually having freedom. Because one day you get exposed. That's why, Liver King. I like Liver King. But he's saying you got this way fucking natural. It's like, bro, you're eating 8,000 calories a day and you got 0% body fat. Yeah, and then he's still taking steroids. I stopped it for 100 days. You didn't stop. You're still fake. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. So that's the same reason why I swear on podcasts. Because I don't want people to think I am a clean speaker and then they come into my program, I swear all the time. That's why the reason why I'm wearing a fucking Metal Gear Solid shirt, because I'm like, I don't want to walk down the street and people like, look at him, that's real Max. That's what he's actually wearing. He's not wearing nice polo shirts all the fucking time. I expose. I'm like, I want to be able to, if someone runs into me, they're like, okay, that's exactly the same persona that I see on Instagram, on podcasts, on YouTube.
You're exactly the same, by the way.
Same for you. It's exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
And I've met many people that are not exactly the same, where you're like, you motherfucker. Fuck off. And that's, again, it's not only, quote unquote, morally right to portray the same that you actually are, but it's also easier for a person who does it. It's really hard to maintain a persona for years to come. It's easy to maintain a persona on fucking video, but then once you blow up, people will recognize you, like you said, on the street. We get recognized all the fucking time. It's so fucking crazy. I'm not used to it anymore because I spend so much time in Europe. But every time I'm in the States, when we're in Miami, fucking every 10 minutes I'm out in the street, some guy comes up to me. And
from years ago.
Yeah. Europe nowadays is starting to change. It's more like people that see my ads. Like, you're the guy who's from the ads, man. I know your shit.
Ads are crazy.
Right? And that's interesting. But if you then have to, snap into this fake persona just because someone recognizes you, you can't do that for long. At some point, remember that lady, Thetanos? she had this fake fucking company where it was, or Theranos or some fucking shit. Google that shit. We let you Google all these things and we never look at them. I think it was Theranos. It was this lady who started wearing turtlenecks like Steve Jobs, and she would have this device that would just take like a tiny drop of your blood. It would like analyze your entire blood and see if you have diseases and all that shit. And they literally scammed billions. Yeah, that lady here. Do you see her? They scammed billions of investors' money. And then a lot of her shtick was that she had this really deep voice, even though she's like a 25-year-old girl. And she would literally speak like that to have more authority. And then there were interviews where she accidentally had her regular voice, like, oh yeah, that was it. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, that is like this. And shit like that is really difficult to maintain because you constantly have to be on guard. You constantly need to be focused. So that's why I always say, look, focus on what works in terms of what to post, right? Because there's a balance too. There's a lot of people that are like, I am Mr. Gary V now. Gary V said just be myself. So I'm going to upload like a shitty reel that is like me rambling for a whole minute without any interesting hooks, completely boring. And Gary V said just be myself. Why am I only getting 12 views on my reels? Because that's too extreme into the direction of being yourself.
But also, if you're boring, work on yourself.
Exactly. On the other extreme is just fucking copy what works and have a fake persona. That's not going to work either. The balance is exactly what you said, is like, work on yourself, get fucking better at your authenticity, learn what works right now, model what works right now, get better at creating hooks, get better at marketing, and then put your own personality into that framework. So you present yourself from the best point of view. You present yourself in a way so new people who do not know you can give you a chance, because nobody's going to give you a fucking chance to look at your content. Nobody fucking cares, okay? I don't care how much you care about people or how smart you are or how good you are in your respective niche. If people are not interested in the first 3 to 5 seconds of what you say, they're not going to fucking listen. I didn't make the rules, all right? I'm not saying this is good. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But if you master how to get attention, right, and you're then authentic, now you're winning. You certainly master how to get attention, right? You're like, okay, my part of my life is I hypnotize people and I really care about people. How can I make this flashy? Okay, let me take a seminar room full of 100 people, hypnotize everyone. That's the first shit I saw of you. And I'm like, wait, what? Who the fuck is this guy? It was actually Yo Viral. He's like, dude, Marczell, you should check him out. And it turns out you and I have been WhatsApping like 3 years ago or something like that, right? But I'm like, I wasn't really fully aware. Yeah. But then I check out your stuff. I'm like, and I just see you like sleep. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking, no way that's fucking real. You know, and to be honest, like, I don't know if it's real. It looks fucking real to me. I'm excited for you to do it on me.
It is real.
Fuck yeah. I'm ready, man. I'm fucking ready. Yeah. But then I'm like, okay, you knew how to get people's attention. Yeah. Now they have your attention, and now you can be your fucking self. And that's how you're winning.
Real quick, gotta interrupt my awesome little conversation with Marczell here, because I want to tell you about our sponsor for today, which is nothing. All I'm asking you instead, if you find this valuable, is to drop a like, give us a 5-star rating if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, and drop a little bit of a comment if you're watching this on YouTube, and just be like, hey Max, great podcast, or hey Max, stupid podcast, do less of it. Just let me know. It'll help the algorithm, and it helps me get even more amazing people on this wonderful podcast. It's been an epic journey so far. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and now back to the podcast.
You know, the reason I learned hypnosis before I knew how powerful it was because I thought, wow, when I walk into a room, if I could just make someone knock out, people are going to want to work with me.
Yeah.
And then be like, holy shit. Then I realized, wait, I can make someone knock out, and now they're confident, and I don't have to do anything. I face the problem. I'm like, well, if I fix everyone's problems in one session, how do I make money? And I realized it's not about the problem. You're not a problem solver. You're a goal getter. So you help people achieve their goals. That's what you do. You don't just solve their problems.
Yeah.
Some people tell me about their problems. I'm like, I don't care about your fucking problem. Your problem's going to disappear in fucking 10 minutes. What do you want? And, you know, I love that you say that because I was watching some footage that we filmed this past weekend for a vlog. I'm bringing back the vlogs because I really do like them.
Everybody's coming back with vlogs, man. I love it.
Yeah. And my vlogs are pretty entertaining. And I was like, look, if you look at any of my vlogs, all of them are absurd. Like the most boring vlog is me making 52K in a couple hours, right? Like that's the most boring vlog. And I buy a car in almost every vlog. Well, this vlog is going to show, you know, the mastermind I did in my house. And it's going to show me with all these models. And I just know that's what gets attention. Like if the title straight up says, I hypnotized 73 models, right? who's not clicking on it? And then the thumbnail, I thought about it. I saw all these girls going up, the pool like pics where they all get up and like show their ass. I'm like, great, that's a thumbnail. I'm like, Jack, get the camera quick. And I sit down and I'm like on the phone call, like one phone here and FaceTime here.
Nice.
While their girls are in the background. So like, it's like, oh,
That's the thumbnail right there.
yeah, boom. And then I got my thumbnail. So I just think like when you want to be a good marketer, you're always thinking about marketing. Like it's congruent. It's become part of my identity.
Yeah.
Like my mind is, oh, this is really good. Let me take a video. And then when I have nothing to post, I go post that thing that I took a video of. Last night I'm like, oh, these girls are filming reels. I'm like, you guys want to film a quick reel? They're like, sure. So I'm like, me before hypnosis and then me after. And it's just me going up to a girl, hey, what's your name? No attention, And it worked out. It was like, cool. And I'm like, look, I'll tag you guys. We'll do a collab post. And they're like, we're about it. I think if you have a business, it's not just marketing though. It's marketing to the right audience. Because I could have just hypnotized girls for the last 5 years. I'm round enough. I have the skill set. I could have gone super viral. I know a lot of people who went super viral, blown up from 0 to 1 million in a few months, and their audience just doesn't convert. Like they just don't make money. I don't care about the number of followers. I care about the number of dollars coming into my bank account from my followers. And people don't know the currency. Also, fake followers. Everyone and their fucking mom has fake followers. Like at that party, we were at Ty Lopez party. Everyone knew you. Everyone knew me. I don't know anyone there other than Ty who was more popular than us.
Actually, that's pretty fucking true.
And everyone had more followers.
That's so fucking true.
Like you're looking, like a lot of people just don't know how to register. It's like, listen, you are the biggest dating coach in the world for an extended period of time. The reason Andrew Tate blew up was because he was talking about dating. When you left, and so did all these other big people, everyone RSD left, right? They stopped talking about dating. There was this massive vacuum of guys who you would have been the star for. And if you didn't stop, you would probably be so fucking famous, it'd be insane. So you stopped because you had a different goal. And think about it, guys. He had a path that was exponentially growing, could have gone into the millions and millions, could have been on the level of Andrew Tate. But you picked the monetary route, not the popular route. And I think a lot of people don't realize, I don't care to be famous just in Europe. I don't care to be famous just in Austria or Bali or Mexico. I want to be famous in the US, in Australia, and Canada, and parts of Europe, not all of Europe, because I want the richest audience.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Same.
Because I don't care about, I was actually in Greece. I was in Athens. This is 2022. And I had half of the followers I have now. I had half the subscribers. I posted my friend Nima, we're flying to Greece together. And he posts a picture of a beach at a restaurant. Doesn't tag the restaurant. 10 minutes go by. I swear to God.
I found you.
Not people, like 20 people walked in. Oh, what's up, Marcel? How's it going? And I was like, how the fuck did they find me? Later on, I'm like, oh, you posted a picture of the beach. And I'm like, oh, I tagged them 3 days ago. And I was like, this is crazy. So since that day, I'm like, this could be really dangerous. I never post where I'm at.
Same.
Until after. And anyone who's with me, if you post where we're at, I'm not hanging out with you anymore. Ever.
It's such a funny thing to say. I've had so many people here be like, oh, Max, wow, I haven't seen you post in so long. Like, you went completely underground. I'm like, hold on, I was making fucking $5 million a year. I don't know what you're saying. Like, just because you haven't seen my stuff, I ended up making way more money than I did in the dating. And again, like, I'm not shitting on the dating or anything. It's fucking amazing. Loved every single fucking second of it. Broadly speaking,
I started there too. It's very fun.
Exactly. Very, very fun. But like what people don't realize is like you can make much more money and it does not depend on how many followers you have. Like I would say not all followers are created equal, which is very, very true. I mean, I've seen people come to me. They're like, Max, I see you making all this money with coaching. I have 1 million followers on Instagram. Let's monetize it, right? And in the beginning, I was like, holy shit, you got 1 million followers on Instagram. When I had 26,000 followers on my Instagram, we were making over $1 million a year. So 1 million followers on Instagram, I just extrapolated.
That's what I did. That's exactly what I
fucking boss. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Turns out nobody even wanted to book a call, right? With the specific, it was a fitness influencer guy, okay? 1 million fucking followers. IBF Pro something, whatever the hell it's called. Nobody even wanted to book a call to get in their mentoring program because 90% of people followed them because they just liked looking at jacked physiques. 10% of people followed them because they were homosexuals, like literally thinking this guy's hot and asking them for feet photos and shit like that. So I'm like, just because you have 1 million followers doesn't mean you make money. So the key is always exactly like you said, get the right type of followers. Now, how to achieve that is the next question. That's what a lot of people ask. It's a combination of doing something viral and wild to which the average person can react to. Meaning, if your grandma would like this type of content, you're on the right path, right? That's how you get eyeballs onto your profile. That is why you occasionally have crazy hot girls in your videos, because that's what gets a lot of attention.
Yep.
But if you only do that, now you're Mr. going viral, and you got a bunch of, you got millions of fans that are 15-year-olds and or from third world countries or both, and you can't really monetize it. If you now post these kind of like viral things that the average person would really love to see, maybe 20% of the time, and the other 80% of the time, you post about things that are specific for the ideal type of client you want to have in your audience, now you're winning, because you're getting eyeballs on you first, and then you sift these eyeballs out. Anybody that cannot afford cannot afford your program, cannot afford paying you for stuff, gets sifted out by the other stuff. Now you get the best of both worlds. You get a lot of attention, your brand grows, and you're getting a lot of people that are willing and happy to pay you.
I think that's, first of all, that's exactly what I do. I want to share a reel that I literally posted today. And this is the type of content you want to post that tells everyone, hey guys, this is what my brand's about. So I charge $1 million a year to work with people one-on-one. Right? The thing I posted today is right here.
Sell something for $1 million.
Saw that. Yep. I'm just talking about $1 million. But
Liked by Max Tornow, right? You can see.
the context is, hey, I charge $1 million for one-on-one. Like people, and that's what the description is. So someone who watches it, they already know, hey, if I want to work with Marczell one-on-one, that's what I'm paying.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Another example is,
sorry to interrupt you. Also, business owners are watching this, and they're like, "This motherfucker charges you $1 million a month, $1 million per client."
Yeah.
I want to know how to do that.
Yep.
And now they're coming in.
Yeah, it's like I only talk to rich people. I made $1 million off a reel that got 3,000 views, and the reel said most people have a bad relationship with money, and they're scared of straight up asking for it. I look at these founders; they can't go raise capital, they can't do this. He paid me $1 million on the spot. He said, I love your mindset. I haven't seen someone who has a good relationship with money. I never wanted to work with all these coaches. These coaches talk to me about $10,000. They don't speak my language.
Love it.
Right? So it's just speaking the language of the person you want. And I got so good at talking to rich people that I actually have a hard time going back to the viral stuff. And I have to repost things from 5 years ago to go viral now. And, I have to start thinking in that mindset. So I think a lot of you watching this, the best advice I'd give you is this. You'll never see me post something that's low quality. Because a lot of guys are like, let me just post a low quality video. Never post low quality because it just looks cheap. If it's cheap, you're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
Another thing is, what does someone rich relate to? So I had someone come up to me and rotate the dial on my Rolex. And I go, fucking asshole. Who's going to relate to that? Only someone with a fucking Rolex or someone who understands, right? That's only a rich person joke. Yeah. So all these rich people swiped up, and I knew they were like, haha, I love that, or I hate that. And I'm like, great, I know they have money. And I closed them. So it's like, how do you just think like a rich person?
Yeah.
Or when I post certain cars, like I could go get the Lambo Huracan, but so can the guy who does e-com and he's broke.
I was going to say, Lambo Huracan is like literally DLV, demonstration of low value, because anybody with real money knows it's just a $200,000 car.
Yep.
Like, fuck off, man. It's like the only people you impress with that are broke people. Because they don't know the difference between an Aventador and a Huracan or a Gallardo. They're like, it's a Lambo, bro. You guy must be making millions. Even here's the funny thing. Whenever someone talks about this is how you become a millionaire, I'm like, motherfucker, a millionaire is fucking broke. A millionaire, you can't do shit with $1 million nowadays. It's nothing. It's pure broke people thinking that if I have $1 million on my bank account, all my problems are solved. Not fucking really. In fact, I would almost argue being a millionaire is where's the most dangerous, because you think you have money, then you have a higher expensive lifestyle, and you can't even fucking afford it over long term. Yep. Like between 1 to 10 million a year is really fucking difficult. That's the death zone. You want to get out of there as soon as possible.
Volatile, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get out there as soon as fucking possible. Between 1 and 10 million is exactly the type of pool of people that make a little bit of money and then they fucking lose it all.
Yes. And they get comfortable. It's like, oh, now I made $3 million. I can afford this car. Great. You're going to keep affording it?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, you had a good month.
You can afford it once, motherfucker.
Yeah, you'd say it. You had one good month. Or you had one client that paid you a lot of money. One client. And then you fucked off, didn't fulfill. And then you lose it all. It's like, bro, you got to be consistent. That's the one thing when I look at you, I forgot to tell you this. I saw your content back in like 2019, 2018, because Owen talked about you and I looked you up. I was like, I love this guy's content.
Love it.
Like I started modeling your content and Greg O'Gallagher's content early on. I was like, I love the way you brand yourself. And I was like, oh, I really, like, it's just classy. I'm like, oh, because you had experience I hadn't had yet. And I'm like, he left this company to go for a richer audience. Even Owen expressed that to me back then. And I was like, well, I want to get a richer audience. I don't care about the followers. It was just logical thinking. I'm like, well, for me, I'd rather go with a really wealthy audience than because I would go into RSD stages and I closed the 12.5K offer. Everyone else closing a 3K offer. And I'd get paid in fools because the 12.5K offer, everyone's rich. And I'd make more than everyone combined. And I was just like, oh, interesting. I should just always charge more. Like my mindset had always been charge more because even in a recession, rich people are still rich. Broke people get broker. So even in a recession, if you look at, what car companies have to go under MSRP during 2020, Honda, Toyota, Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, they're fucking upping the price. They're like, yo, we're going to go even more expensive. And every time I want a nice car, like now I'm getting discounts on cars. I'm like, holy shit, now I get things at MSRP? I'm like, fuckers. Like,
it was same with Rolex. You couldn't buy a single Rolex 2020 to 2023.
Still can't.
It was insane. Yeah, why is that? Well, because all the fucking rich people are cashing. They're making all the money, and it's getting easier and easier, and they're spending it. And it's again, it's like the gap between rich and poor is becoming bigger and bigger. Middle class stops existing very soon.
Yes.
We've seen this already. Like middle class household that can afford a comfortable living exists less and less. There's people who can barely afford. They need to have 3 fucking jobs. They need to take out loans. They have a mortgage. And then there's the people who are just making money, quote unquote, easily. I'm never going to say it's going to be easy, but easier than most of them.
You're going to have it in India. You're going to have it Dubai. You're going to have all these places where you have the elite, rich, and then poor. And when I say the rich get richer, they don't get richer because they're lucky. They don't get richer because they grew up rich. They get richer because they continuously improve. That's what people don't get. Is when you make money, you're like, oh, that guy's rich. He got lucky. The rich guy, my liabilities are so much higher than the poor guy. Sometimes I look at the poor guy and I go, you are a dumbass. Like, if you can't make at least 20K a month, I think you literally have you have a handicap mindset because it's not hard to do that. It's not to make only $1,000 a day to me means that I have to sit down and work for 30 minutes a day without a brand, take my brand away, take my leads away, take everything away, take every penny away. There's no way I don't make at least $1,000 a day. Maybe $2,000-3,000. I think at the low end, I'd make 5K a day. And I'm talking about if I started from nothing. I'd be back at 150K a month in a week. In 2 weeks, I already have hired some people, scaled up. And I think within a month, or like 2 months even, I'd be at the minimum 300-400K a month. So to me, it's like someone looks at that and says, I don't believe you. Yeah, because you have a handicap mindset. So the rich get richer because they have a mindset. Even if I lost it, I've never lost it. I've gotten close to like not making things happen, but I always do. Just what you end up learning is I'm not going to over leverage. I'm not going to make mistakes. I know what not to do, what mistakes, like that's the thing I love about talking to you is we have a very similar business model. All the things I've gone through and problems you've gone through. So it's really interesting to see what you're doing that's working. And, I just think anyone watching this, like the best thing you could do is instead of starting from scratch, you should honestly work with someone who's doing it. Like a real entrepreneur. If you go get advice from like these fake entrepreneurs, and I say fake entrepreneurs because there's a lot of fake ones, and they make money pretending to be an entrepreneur, and they're good marketers, they're good salesmen, but they're horrible at actually teaching. And their teaching would be, hey, this is how you scam people. If you look at someone who's been around for a long time, like you sacrifice fame to come do this, and you will be famous again for it, but it's going to take a lot more time, but you're going to have a way, way deeper, way better audience. I also said, I'm not going to take the easy route. The low-hanging fruit, I'm a hypnotist. I have cars. I have girls. I have everything you need to go viral. I have the viral formula. I never went that way on purpose. When I started going viral, I'll delete posts. I'll show you posts that I had to archive that started getting 100,000 views in like a day. I'm like, wrong audience. Can't monetize it. I was collaborating with every massive YouTuber. They were all my clients. The biggest YouTubers in the world, I've hypnotized all of them. Got 30,000 followers in a day sometimes. I would literally have to block the followers, go private so I don't get it.
Sick.
But people don't know that. I have to get a bot to remove all these requests. Like, because I wanted my audience to never go that route. And I think people just don't know that if you make these sacrifices, it's like, why though? You make the sacrifices because it's, like you said, it's about quality. And that's the biggest shift I've made. Yes, another thing in 2020, not just charging more. I started talking to rich people. I was always like, hey, if you're broke, I'm going to help you out. If you're broke or if you need to make more money, if you want to get the first 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, I stopped saying that shit. I'm like, what the fuck am I talking to? I will never make that mistake now. Like, you will never hear me talk to someone broke on my audience. Never. Like, hey guys, this is how you get rich. No, look, the way to stay rich, because right now you might be stressed out. We're in an economic downturn. Like, I understand what's going on. Your stocks are going down. You're not as liquid. What do you do? Like, that's the problems I talk about. And that's how you get rich people. I hear you talk about the same things. So I think a lot of people watching this, they should work with you. Yeah, everything I've heard you say, it's just you have over a decade of experience coaching. What? How many years? 15?
Yep. No, not 15, it's 13 or something.
So you have 13 years experience. I'm at 8 years of experience. You know, I've seen other coaching industries, other companies. I've seen other people. I know who operates well, who doesn't. And what sets the thing apart is this knowledge, is just understanding the niche that you're in. Your offer is more important than anything else. If you pick the right niche, you crush. It's the most important decision you make.
Yeah. And I loved seeing that too, like 2 days ago, where you were just like, oh, look, this guy just opted in. Let me call him. And you just called him up. It's like, yo, what's up? It's Marczell. He's like, who? The hypnotist. Oh, cool. Yeah. Anyways, what are your goals? And you were just like selling them this guy right away. Yeah. It was so fucking sick. And this is again, just to go back to the analogy earlier, when you're a business owner and you got a sales team and you got the procedures and all that jazz, sometimes you forget you could just pick up the fucking phone and make money.
Yep.
It's exactly the same with me. I fell into this myself. I'm like, I got a sales team. We got this procedure. Those guys are fucking kicking ass. They're making money every single fucking day. We're making at least 4 to 5 figures every single fucking day. And it's just going. Just from the sales team alone. I'm not even talking about low ticket funnels yet. I'm not even talking about upsells. I'm not even talking about referrals. I'm not even talking about any of that. I'm just saying someone in the fucking team makes that, right? Now, that's a very rigid structure, and it can only work because it's a very rigid structure. If I would just hire random people, I'm like, go knock yourself out, good luck. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at scale, and it wouldn't work working with other people.
Yep.
But, this is a big but. Seeing you just being like, oh, I'll call this guy. You got a sales team and everything, but you're like, fuck it, I'll call him myself. What's up? I'm like, because in my head, I'm like, but hold on a second. What about the procedure? What about, doesn't this guy have to be set to be on a Zoom call first? How do you evaluate if he's gold standard, right? All these things, I got so stifled from that, right? Because it works.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, hold on a second, but you just call him and make some money. Fuck it, I'll do that too. You know, especially on a weekend, you know, you're like, fuck it, I'll see what
my rule is anything my team makes goes to my company, goes to the reserves of the company, goes to the marketing of the company. Anything in my lifestyle, I have to earn.
Yeah. Ooh,
I have to hop on. Like, if I want a new car, I'm getting on the phone. That's why I do the 52K in a couple hours vlog.
Yeah.
I did that for like 4 days every day because I went and bought another car. I'm like, I'm going to go buy a car now. Okay, hop on calls. Like, anytime I want to go on vacation, time to hop on calls. Like, if I just want to make money, I'm like, don't bother me for 5 hours. Don't bother me 5 hours. I would have made 40, 50K cash in the bank. Because I have 2 phones on purpose. Literally, the second one, like, and I'll have my assistant in person with me. I'll be like, listen, you just give me phone numbers. I'm dialing here. It's not answering. Load up the next number on the phone.
Sick.
Load up the next number.
Yeah, the human auto dialer.
Just constantly back and forth. Like, give me the next number. And then it's just dialing, doesn't go through. Next. I'll double tap everything, text everyone, copy and paste text. Next.
Yeah.
And I have hundreds of thousands of leads. I just fucking call them. I don't care. Someone's answering and they're buying.
Yeah.
So, you know, if in those sprints, like, I show my team, because this happened to me February. I fired my whole sales team in February. And it sucks because I had really good people on there and my sales manager fucked it up. What happened? So my sales manager starts telling me, oh, leads are bad. Now, what I didn't know, I gave him a bonus to quit his job. He was like a finance manager at a dealership. I'm like, hey, you quit your job, you go all in on this. That's back in like August.
By the way, deadly sin for us in our team to ever blame marketing. There's no such thing as bad lead. So when someone fucking says that, it's like you just basically said, whatever, God is not real, or you basically just said Voldemort.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we do not say bad leads. 100%. Doesn't fucking exist, all right?
It just means you're stuck in closing.
Exactly. You fucking call people. If you really think these are quote-unquote bad leads, then give us fucking numbers. Show us show rate. Show us upfront cash collected. It never fucking happens.
Yep.
Because there are no fucking bad leads.
Yeah, show me that you're only collecting $100 per lead. Like,
exactly.
And let me hear the call. The guy's like, oh yeah, you know, you want to do 1,000. Like, normally the closer will be like, yeah, you want to do like 100 to like 300. No, bitch. You say fucking 3K to 5K. That's why you're getting 100 to 300. Of course, I'll say that.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, long story short, he takes on another job. He's not really delivering. Instead of taking accountability for his bullshit, he's blaming leads, saying it's him. He starts telling the team, oh yeah, guys, it's the leads. So it goes 2 weeks. No sales. I'm funding fucking 8 closers of ad spend, setters, salaries, right? All this. I'm like, there's no closes in 2 weeks. I get on the phone with him. He's like, yeah, bro, it's the leads. I said, okay, everyone hop on Zoom with me right now. I said, who's got a call coming up? I got a call. Give it to me. Call it 10 minutes early. 5 minutes later, 10K cash in, paid in full. I said, okay, who else has a lead coming up? Who has a lead that didn't answer or something? I do. Call it. 10K. I swear, I have the recording of the Zoom. 10K paid in full on the spot. And I said, okay, I just made 20K in 15 minutes. I said, everyone on this team has 1 hour to bring in 10K or you're all fired.
Wow.
And in that 1 hour, I brought in another 60K. I brought 80K in an hour and a half. And then I got on a call with my sales manager and I said, what do you have to say? He's like, what can I say? I said, well, you could say that you're a fucking piece of shit is what you could say. I was so pissed. I'm like, if in an hour and like 30 minutes, I brought in 80K cash in and you have 8 closers under you that I trained for you and I handed you fucking money and you ruined it and I have to fire all of them and they all have to go look for a new job because of you, what do you have to say? So I called it to see if he went back to his job. And I'm like, and you went back to your fucking job, you piece of shit. Like, you. And I'm like, and I gave him like a 20K, like
Severance package or what was
well, yeah, I was just so pissed off. I was like, and then on top of that, it's just the integrity is just not there. It's like, why? You had this opportunity. Why? What are you going to say? Can't say it. So I was just so pissed off.
I mean, and now I'm sure he had some sort of commission-based deal. Imagine they would make an 80K every single day, or even if it's just whatever, third of that, whatever, right? The amount of money he would make is probably far, far, far outpays what he would get paid in this car dealership.
Yeah.
So what do you, as a mindset hypnotist coach, what do you think was his fucking issue? Do you think he had some sort of success barriers?
It's 2 things. Yeah, for sure. One, they see how much I make and they go, look at how much Marcell's making. He's not paying me enough. So they don't understand margins. They don't understand marketing. They don't understand. In their mind, they're like, oh yeah, look, 80K came in. Why doesn't he just give me 20 of that every day?
Yeah.
Right? I want more commission. Like the greed comes in. You start tasting more money. Also, he's not doing anything. He's making money. I'm not doing anything and look at how much I'm making every month just for my sales team. Why should I do more? Well, whatever. Do the bare minimum. Pretend. Say that I'm doing everything and not do it. Send a couple text messages in to look like I'm doing it. And when I'm busy, I'm busy. I don't look at it. So what's changed now is everyone's on Zoom 24/7. I could hop on, look at them. Hey, what are you doing? Who's on a call? Are you not on a call? I'll take calls with them every day. No matter what, for like an hour, 2 hours, I'm on calls with people just to set the tone. I'm like, whoever gets more cash collected than me today gets a bonus every day.
Sick. Well, how much bonus do you get?
So it depends. If I bring in like 10K plus, whoever beats that gets at least $1,000 bonus. Because it motivates the whole team. They get competitive.
Sick.
So
Sick. How much do they get usually commission?
10%.
10%.
Yeah.
There's closers, and what about the setters?
Setters don't get commission.
Okay, they just get a base.
Yeah, they get a base, but my setter manager gets 1% of anything financed. So if we do in-house financing or we get it funded, he has to manage that. He manage the payment plans. He has to manage all that because that's one of the most important parts of the business.
Yeah.
He gets 1% of where he brings it.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I can do commissions for closers, for setters, but the problem is I just don't like. Oh, there's also a bonus for setters. If we get 7,500 cash collected on a lead they set, they get $100 bonus.
Oh, well, there you go. Which is basically commission.
Yeah, it's basically
in and of itself.
Yeah. I just think the whole thing though, when people look at it, is like your sales team has to have the culture of we're in it to win it. We're in it long term, loyalty, and they have to be coachable. Anyone who doesn't take feedback, if I give someone feedback and they don't take feedback, off my team.
Yep.
Same.
Yep.
Get off.
We like I said, in that time period where we were, I called it our eating shit period, right? It was about 2 years where we had to figure out cold traffic. Funny enough, you think you got to figure out cold traffic until you crack cold traffic and then realize the sales team is still not fucking closing. Yep. And now you're like, oh, we also got to figure out fucking cold traffic sales. So that took us around 2 years. It was between 2020 to 2022. And the problem we had is the sales people that we've had on before were all, we call them sunshine weather closers, meaning they could close a fucking fanboy. I've been watching Max's content for 3 years. And then they're like, here's the program, put over 25K. And they're like, well, I got to think about it. And then the closer's just like, well, you want to be a loser or you want to be cool? And then it was just a random example. But then the person would say, no, I want to be cool. Okay, boom, 24K closed. Like that. That's not real fucking objection handling. That's like, sleeping with a girl that's been knowing you from your friend circle for 10 years and had a secret crush on you. And then you walk up to her one day and she was drunk and you were drunk and you think you're the shit because she went home with you. That, my friend, is not fucking cold traffic closing. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, you would crack cold traffic, meaning a ton of leads would come in from cold traffic, and the same kind of objection comes up, right? They get pitched for 25K, and they're like, I got to think about it, right? And the person is just like, well, you want to be cool or you want to be a loser? And they're like, I don't care. I just saw an ad from you guys. I got to think about it. And then they're like trying to push, like, oh, well, Jeff Bezos doesn't think about it. He takes action. And they're like, you know what? You're too pressury. Fuck off. Bye. Lost the sale, right? Now, in the closer's mind, who's used to extremely warm traffic, they're like, oh, the leads are quote unquote shit. The leads are financially qualified enough. You just don't know how to fucking close them. Now, what you need to do then is, well, you have to figure out how to either make it sexy to close cold traffic for your existing staff, which 90% won't do because they're used to easy, right? They're like, well, now I got to fucking have to build a follow-up pipeline and I got to deal with stupid objections. Where, this sucks. I want fast and easy again. And then they fucking quit, which happened to 90% of our entire fucking staff. They either quit out of volition or we had to fire them because they just didn't perform.
Yep.
We had one guy actually that is still with us. His name is Nico. He's now a sales manager. Legit fucking sales manager. A sales god, literally, because he was like, he's just psychopath enough. He's not a psychopath. He's one of the nicest guy ever. Yeah. But he's just like crazy enough to be like, fuck it, I'll do it. Like, I'll figure it out. I don't care. I love that guy. He's literally like, I don't mind. That's good.
That's 1 in 500.
Exactly. Super duper fucking rare. Now, what we actually then found out, okay, now we got to fucking build a team from scratch. That's exactly what you said. There's 3 character traits that you really want a awesome sales rep to have. Number 1 is, like you said, got to be coachable, meaning they got to take feedback. That sounds super obvious. It's already super rare. The way we look at that, the way we screen for that is we have a mock interview call in the very first fucking call, all right? It's not even like, tell me about your experience. It's literally like, close me, right? Following scenario, you're going to pitch me this, go. And then they try to close you. Then you give them the 3 usual objections that you always get. That depends on the niche. Whatever objections you usually get, you give them those exact 3 objections to see how they can handle it. Now, nobody's going to, a lot of them are going to close you if they're good, if they're decent, but nobody's going to do it fucking perfectly. So they close you or they don't close you. Now you have a couple feedback points, right? And I literally tell them in the first mock call, in the first interview, okay, I'm going to give you feedback points now, and then you're going to have another call with someone else from my team or me myself, depending on how available you are. And that call is going to take place tomorrow, and I'm going to give you an exact scenario where you have to implement the exact feedback I'm giving you. So we're ultra fucking transparent with that. We're literally like, write it down if you must, right? So we make it really easy. Then we give them exact feedback points. We're like, I didn't like how you asked this, or do this better, or say this next time, right? So we give them a bunch of feedback points. Then the next day, ideally the next day, we have a second mock call where I'm giving them the exact scenario where he or she can prove that they have implemented the exact fucking feedback points I gave him. You would be surprised how many of these great fucking closers cannot implement the fucking feedback. I'm like, I told you yesterday, you nodded and you understood, you agreed. I asked you if any other questions. No, I understand. And you can't fucking implement it now. If you cannot do that, you've missed out on the first character trait that you need, which is you're not coachable. The second character trait they need to have in order to be really fucking good is volume. Believe it or fucking not, if you want to be a salesperson, all you'll do all day is be on the fucking phone. You'll be on Zoom all day long. Whether you're a seller, you're going to auto dial on audio, or a closer, you're going to be on Zoom all day. If you cannot handle a very high amount of just taking call after call after call, having conversation after conversation after conversation, you're not meant for fucking sales. Believe me, I've had closers that were really good at closing, really good at objection handling, really good at taking feedback. They quit after closing 3 fucking deals per day on average, meaning that's at least 15K.
I had this too.
And they're like, I just can't handle being on the fucking computer all day.
Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah, it's too, you know what? Then how about you become a yoga instructor? Go do some yoga. Go dance around a fire singing Kumbaya. But you got to have the fucking volume.
I had a female doing first month, she did like 15K in commission. She was on track to probably get more. She was going to get to like 20, 30K commission probably in like 2 months. She quit after month 1. So I can't do it. It's too much work.
Yeah. Too much work. Too much fucking work. Can't handle fucking volume. That's the second one. And then the third one is just being good at closing. Just like actually like having the social attitude, aptitude, the charisma part of that thing, and just do you know how to fucking close people? So
if you look at someone's face and you see lines in their forehead and you see smooth lower eyelids like you have, that means they're suggestible, which means they're coachable. And the lines in the forehead means they're empathetic, so they can listen to what you're saying, and they're not narcissists. A lot of us closers are fucking narcissists. They're full of shit.
Very true.
You know?
Very true. And the funny thing is, I am so fucking suggestible I'm so easy. I don't know why, I've always been someone like someone
But
with
like you're successful though. It's mostly successful people are suggestible.
That's a very good point, actually.
That's why I picked a good niche, bro. Hypnosis only works fucking like butter with rich people.
That is so fucking true. Like, I'm so easily suggestible. It's insane. Like, I notice it too. Is like every time I'm presented with facts or with what looks like a fact that is or better than what I believe, I'm like, oh shit, I'll change my mind. It's the exact same example with vegetarianism. I was vegetarian for 12 and a half years. Then I was presented with facts of like, hey, if you eat this and this and this and it's all meat, it's better for you. I'm like, okay, fuck. I guess I'm not vegetarian anymore from one fucking day to the other. And it's also how I became vegetarian in the first place because I saw these videos of slaughterhouses. I'm like, I got all the proof there. Not gonna eat meat anymore from one fucking day to the other. All my family made fun of me because I was a huge meat eater. They're like, yeah, tomorrow you're gonna eat fucking meat again. No, the fucker, I didn't for 12 fucking years. And then also what helped really a lot after 12 and a half years of vegetarianism, I'm like, oh, I originally stopped eating meat because I didn't want to be part of like a slaughterhouse culture of cheap meat, but I'm rich now. What if I just buy like really good meat from like locally sourced farmers where I can see the cows roaming around outside? Oh shit, well that fixes that problem. I literally know my farmer's name by first name. His name is Alois. Greatest guy in the world. He lives in Austria. I come into his fucking house. All right, the way his business set up, you walk into his house. You're like, what's up, Alois? What do you got for me? And he's like, oh, we got this great filet. Just slaughtered him yesterday. Great fucking bull or whatever. Yeah, there we go. It's fresh. And he just gives me the whole piece of filet. You know, a big piece, like a male cow. What is it, a bull? An adult bull, a filet is like this fucking big. It's just like, just like plop of meat. And then you cut it up. Best fucking meat in the world. And I have the same in Cyprus, Shukru meat market. I walk in. This guy knows me because I'm there twice a year. He's like, my friend, every time you're here, you're with a different bunch of girls. he's always walking with like a bunch of girls. And we always just load up on like 10 kilos of meat every single time. And I know exactly where the meat comes from.
Next time I come to you, I have a guy who also sources my steaks.
Best ever, man.
You know, and then whenever he's out of town, because he goes out of town a lot, I just go and I get just organic. I try to get as organic.
Yeah, also good. Yeah, the cool thing with meat is you can freeze it. You could just buy 10 kilos, or what you guys have pounds, 22 pounds, and just freeze it in the freezer.
Well, yeah. So I had elk. And my friend hunted an elk and brought elk. And I've never had elk. Very rich. It's kind of like a sirloin in terms of texture, so you have to have it kind of raw.
Yeah.
But it's rich. The flavor's rich. Bison too, but I liked elk the most. I was like, wow, elk is really good. I still like steak the most, like cows, but
hell yeah.
You know, it was just interesting. And then you feel like the inner savage inside you is like, I like just thinking about steak. We got a steak for lunch or something because I'm getting...
That, dude, you remind me. I actually got something for you, something small. So the funniest thing is, because you said like you ate elk meat and you loved it. I brought you elk meat from the Arctic Circle in Finland.
No way.
Hell yeah. It's a family business. It's one of my favorite meat delivery people.
Canned elk meat. Wow. Look at that. It's crazy.
It's so funny that you said like, oh yeah, elk meat, man. I'm like, motherfucker. I literally brought elk meat. Like, yeah, I'll give my buddy Marczell some elk meat. And I'm like, no way you fucking talked about it, man.
That's so funny. I fucking love elk, bro. And you know, go look at any piece of content I've ever posted. Never once talked about it.
What?
I've never once talked about it, ever.
You see, there you fucking go. I'm like, I got to bring everyone on my podcast meat. And I'm like, you're elk meat, man. How insane. I literally brought you elk meat.
I didn't even know you do that on your podcast.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I just started it. Yeah. And you talk about elk meat. That's some universal shit.
I've never talked about elk meat on any story. There's no video of me talking about it. Ever. So I think it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Dude, elk meat was also one of the first meats I ever ate after 12 and a half years.
Sure.
It's so good. The first piece of meat I ate was reindeer. And then the next day, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm a meat eater now, basically. And then the next day, we went to my girlfriend's aunt. And she's like, I hope you like elk or something like that. Like, hey, we're making elk meat. And I'm like, sign me up. And I got a huge bowl of elk meat on like potatoes or something like that. It was insane.
It's less common here in the U.S. to have elk. Like,
yeah.
When you tell someone if you had elk or bison, they go, what?
Yeah, super out there.
Yeah,
in Finland, it's like they got a shitload of elks. Elks, reindeer, they eat that shit all the time. And it's super lean, it's super high protein.
And the animal has no stress. Like, the animal never got stressed out. The animal's literally lived its whole life, like, in the wild.
100%, yeah. You just hunt them out. I mean, you know, to trigger a bunch of vegans now, that's a way nicer death than they would have otherwise. How does an elk usually die? They get fucking ripped apart by wolves.
Yeah.
Eaten alive, you know? Because wolves are like It depends on what kind of predator. That's the craziest thing. If you get hunted by a non-apex predator, you know what that means? So let's go full on nature as metal right now. An apex predator is an apex predator, meaning he or she, whatever, it has no competition. That's the lions, that's the tigers, etc.
Bears, yeah.
Exactly. So what they do is they're like, I don't like it that my meal is moving, so I'm going to give it the bite of death. I'm going to bite them in their throat and kill them like that, right? So now I can fucking eat in peace. But non-apex predators, like African prairie dogs, for example.
Like coyotes, yeah.
Coyotes. They're like, I gotta fucking eat as fast as possible before the apex predator shows up and steals my fucking shit. So they're like, I don't have time to cut my meal's throat. I'm just gonna start eating. And if you go to Instagram and type in nature is metal like heavy metal. Type in nature is metal and go watch the videos of what happens when African prairie dogs eat. They're eating these things alive. They're just, the zebra is like on the ground, like trying to get away, and they're just like ripping up its gut and start eating, and the zebra is still fucking moving. That's what usually happens, right? That's how the elk usually dies. Or he breaks his leg and can't walk and just freezes to death and shit. It's all horrible. And then if you're like a hunter, like a human hunter, they get a headshot, they get a shot in the heart, right? Maybe it's 2 shots until it's fully dead, and that's how they get hunted, especially for deer, elk, and so on and so forth. Anything that you can't just have in captivity, like.
Well, also you think that an elk gets old and it lives its life till death. It's very rare. It's very rare for an animal to live till it dies. My monkey, I have a pet monkey, Capuchin. Captivity, they live up to 44. He's currently 30.
The same
in the wild. You'll be impressed if you find one that's 12.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because they died of old age. It's because they got hurt or sick and they died. So I've been able to take care of him because he's my monkey.
Yes.
Anyone who's watching that as a vegan and you're thinking about it, it's like they're not going to live that much longer anyways. The lifespan is much shorter in the wild.
Yeah. The whole thing is like, I'm as much in agreement with vegans when it comes to what is it called? Like improper holding of animals.
Oh yeah, more morality. Look, I cannot stand animal abuse whatsoever.
100%. That's like, so when I do eat meat, like, and to be fully fucking transparent here.
Before you say it, I was gonna say, when you went to eat your meat, you stopped, and I saw you literally pray like in gratitude over your food. So I just wanted to say before you said it, so anyone knows that you're not full of shit. I don't know if that's what you're gonna say, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and also that's just important, just to because also, well, number one, there's an animal that died, so you can live, so you can eat well and get the best protein and the best micros in there. But also, dude, you have fucking food on the table, right? You got a warm, fucking healthy meal. Be fucking grateful, even if it's just for fucking 3 seconds. And I always try to get my mind into that, because a lot of times, entrepreneurs, we go, food comes in real quick. Yeah, I gotta do this thing. Nom, fuck it. You weren't even conscious as you're eating it. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me at least get like 3 seconds just to get my brain onto this gratitude lane of like, okay, you know what? Be grateful to eat this meal now. And then I'm like, wow, I really am grateful. And it tastes better, So that there's these two sides of that. But what I was going to say is, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, now I get it. To be fully transparent, I don't only eat that meat. Sometimes when I'm traveling, I buy beef jerky at the store somewhere, right? Or I go to a restaurant and I don't know where the meat comes from. So I want to be transparent here too. I don't want some motherfucker coming to me at a restaurant taking a photo. Max didn't know where that meat came from. Okay. But most of the time, fucking 90% of the time, I know exactly where my meat comes from, especially when I buy it myself or I give it to my cook to buy it. That's key to know. And again, like when you do that, now you're not supporting some crazy shitty slaughterhouse. You're actually supporting a local business owner. And most of these people that that are having cattle, that are bringing them up, they love that cow. They respect that cow. They don't just say, oh, these stupid fucking cows, I'm going to kill them. No, they're all like, yo, this is my livelihood. So that energy goes into the food, and that food gets into you. So you're consuming energy. That's very, very key to know. Anyways, yeah, to talk about veganism and vegetarianism. And I'm also, last point I want to say is, like, even when I was a vegetarian, I'm very proud to say I was never one of these militant vegetarians that was trying to change people's minds. I'm like, look, this is what I fucking do. You can eat your steak. I don't care. I would go out of steakhouses all the fucking time. I would eat the sides. I would just eat the sides. All my buddies would eat the steak. All right? And now it's the other way around. I don't judge a vegan. If you want to be vegan, go for it, please. Do it. If it works for you. I got vegan bodybuilder friends. Misha Yanitz, Patrick Reiser. Shout out to those guys. they've been vegan for 10 fucking years. They got insane gains. They look super healthy. They got a shitload of just
different blood types.
Yeah.
Go well, different genetic things too. A lot of people are like, oh, vegan works for everyone. Not true. Keto doesn't work for everyone.
Exactly.
Different blood types, depending on your background, where you're at. Europeans, Middle Eastern, South African, everywhere's different. So a big thing with vegan is a lot of people who are vegan also don't know what they're doing. So they just
do it wrong.
Or vegetarian as well, right? You have there's a lot of vitamins that you become deficient in and they make you sick. So, vitamin A being one of the biggest vitamins you start lacking, just iron and in general become anemic. So there's a lot of different things that you can have. Diet's everything, right? It's the fuel you put in your body. If you don't eat the right fuel, you're going to be fucked. So the easiest way to not fuck up and have to think about it too much is to eat meat. When you eat meat, most of that, the animal already took for you. Like you could just, it gives you that raw material that you're looking for without needing it, So that's why I think having meat in your diet's better. But if you're broke and you're eating McDonald's or you're eating, In-N-Out or Carl's Jr., you're eating Wendy's, you're eating fast food, right? Chick-fil-A, you're eating bad meat. Well, now, your arteries are going to get clogged up. You're going to get a heart attack. You're eating way more calories than you think. There's preservatives, there's chemicals, there's a bunch of other things in the food that aren't regular. But if you're having an organic piece of meat and you know what it is, it's just literally a steak. It's the way your DNA is hardwired. Like we weren't hardwired for preservatives. We weren't hardwired for chemicals. That's all new shit, So if you're just taking what our body was built for, I'll give you a great example. When I went to Maldives, everything there is grown on the island, organic. First time I ever had organic.
Fuck yeah.
I go there, I start eating. I'm like, why is the sweet stuff not taste sweet? Like why? So after 2 days, my palate adjusted and the food tasted delicious. Now I thought I was eating 7,000 calories a day, genuinely. I was losing weight. I was like, I'm eating so much and I'm losing weight. I leave, I get to Qatar, the fanciest airport in the world, and we eat at a steakhouse there, really nice steakhouse. I take a couple bites, I'm feeling nauseous. I literally want to throw up. For the next month, every time I ate, I was feeling nauseous. Finally, I sit there and I go, what's wrong with me? It was like a food poisoning. Like, what could it be? And I go, let me try something. I told my chef, I told Abdullah, I'm like, go get me something organic. Nothing. No problem. I'm like, huh. So I tell him, like, listen, go get something organic. Go get something not organic. Don't tell me, because I don't know if it's placebo or not. And I want you to just give it to me. And on my plate, give me 2 steaks. Don't tell me which one's which. I eat one. I got nauseous. I eat the other one. I didn't want to eat the other one. I'm like, hey, was this one not the organic one? He's like, yeah, it wasn't. I said, great. Save this one for later. I eat the organic one a couple hours later. No nausea. Feel fucking perfect. I'm like, I'm only eating organic. And now, obviously you get kind of adjusted back to the environment. There's things that are inorganic. You eat out at restaurants with friends. But it's just interesting how 8 days in an environment like that, your body just rejects. It's like, oh, finally. And I felt way sharper. I had a concussion there.
No shit.
I have a video of it, pretty much.
How did you get a concussion?
They have water slides there. We decided it'd be a cool scene to have all the 8 girls and me in the water slide. So I'm in the middle. 4 girls go, 4 behind me, but the 4 don't go at the same time. So it's us, and then the girls behind me waited and then went. I'm like, no. So they all go and they land on my head
with a knee or some shit.
I don't know what hit me. Yeah, but there's like 4 people going like 15 miles an hour back of my head. I was, oh my God. Horrible. So the organic food obviously helped, though. I think it did help me a lot.
Yeah,
it just helped me stay sharper. And then after that, I was like, whoa. Like some people meet you and they're like, wow, bro, you're sharp. Yeah, why though? What Luke? I don't know if you still talk to Luke or not.
Luke Crow. Yeah, I had him on the podcast.
Yeah, so he always says like, oh yeah, we move different. Like that's what he says. We move different. So it's interesting though when someone's sharp, they care about their health. It's like people look at health like, oh, it's just about physique. It's not. It's about energy. It's about focus. It's about how sharp your mind is. When I was on keto, people are like, oh, I'm sharp on keto. But they're not entrepreneurs. The ones who are really entrepreneurial and they're making more than a couple million a year, you're not sharp on keto. Go do a seminar on keto. It's not possible. I was stressed 24/7. 24/7. I was paranoid. I was in paranoia. I would have vivid nightmares every night.
Fuck, man.
And then I'd get on, I take some carbs after 6 weeks of doing this thing. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm never doing keto again. But one thing I'll tell you about keto, which was amazing, 0 inflammation in my body. Things that I thought were normal. Like right now, my knees are inflamed because I was speaking. On keto, no inflammation. What next day? When you wake up, you have to blow your nose or something?
Yeah.
You have like boogers in your nose?
Yeah.
No boogers in your nose.
Oh, shit.
I would wake
up.
I have asthma at night sometimes. Keto, no asthma. Just totally like sugar and carbs genuinely cause inflammation. If God forbid I ever had like, allergies, no allergies. Nothing. Like anything that causes inflammation, gone. So, you know, when they say that the best diet to go on during cancer is keto, if you're truly on keto, people say they're on it, they're not really on it. I didn't have a gram. For 6 weeks, I didn't have a gram of sugar. I didn't have a carb. I checked everything I fucking ate. I was on keto. I was genuinely on keto. But your mental health goes to shit.
Yeah.
You know, say your mental health.
Really foggy.
Yeah.
Really foggy. Yeah.
And my mind genuinely contracted. Like I could not think big. I could not think clearly. I could not focus for long periods of time. I didn't want to get up in the morning. I was so fucking tired. I didn't even go to the bathroom. 4 or 5 days in a row, I wouldn't go to the bathroom.
Yeah, because you don't have no fiber.
Yeah.
Zero fiber.
Not just no fiber. Your body also absorbs it all. So no fiber, plus your body uses everything you eat. It's like, yo, I'm in starvation mode.
Yeah.
So keto is just being in a state of stress. It's not good.
Yeah, it depends. Again, it depends. I'm sure some people can crush it on keto.
Yeah, some genetics.
Yeah, for me, I could not do pure keto. What I do now is I do 100 grams to 120 grams of carbs a day. Works perfectly. Means my first meal, I just have steak and eggs, 0 carbs. And then in the evening, when I get a little sluggish, I've been doing 5 hours of deep work already, usually after the gym. I then have chicken and fruit or chicken and veggies. And then I get like a second boost from the carbs. I'm like, oh, let's go. And that's where I do like usually creative work, big picture thinking, and so on and so forth.
It's an interesting routine. For me, I'll sleep 8 hours. I'll work 8 hours. I'll have fun for 8 hours.
That's actually cool. It's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah, I just like, and sometimes it doesn't have to be chronological. It could be like, I sleep, I work 4 hours, might go to lunch with friends or something for like 2 hours. I come back, I work another 4, and then maybe I go on a date for like, I don't know, 6 hours, or I do something like that, and then I go to sleep. But my bedtime is my bedtime. I wake up when I wake up. Sometimes I'll be off if I see I'm not feeling good. I'll kind of make sure I rest.
Same.
You know, but one exception I will not ever do is like, there won't be a day I'm not doing work. Like right now, this is to me is considered work. Like, oh, hey, we're doing a podcast. Yeah, cool. I did 2.5 hours podcast. I know I'll get a bunch of reels from it. I know it'll be great in the long run when you and I continue to blow up 2-3 years from now. This podcast will have hundreds of thousands of views.
Fuck yeah.
You know?
Amen.
It will. I know it will. So, you know, but you look at that, maybe even millions. Like it might even do that. So when you look at that, you go look at Andrew Tate's early podcast. There's not one podcast he has without almost 1 million views.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
Or more.
Trickles down, yeah.
It will. And you know how it is. People find your stuff. And you've blown up before. Actually, I'm curious. When you blew up, what was it like? Like tell me the process. Because I feel like I'm blowing up right now. But I don't really...
You don't notice it. You don't care.
Yeah.
You don't care.
Exactly.
That's how it was.
You know? But what did you notice though? Like what started to change? Like externally, I'm getting recognized all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll be in my car and people are like, oh, Marczell, they take pictures in my car and they'll tag me.
Yeah.
You know? That's one thing. Second thing is like, I'll notice a lot more people are like telling me, oh, I see you're blowing up. I'm like, what are you seeing?
It's kind of like when you're on a diet, you're just continuously doing the thing. And then people are like, dude, you look so fit. You're like, what? I didn't notice. Because you look yourself in the mirror every single day.
Yeah.
And that's just when you're blowing up, people are like, oh man, everybody's watching you. Everybody's seeing your shit. I'm like, really? Like, I don't, where? Like, who? And then, like you said, you start getting recognized. And you just, and no matter how many people recognize you, you just think it's good luck. It's like the one guy recognizes you per day, right? 3 people recognize you per day. No matter how many, you're like, yeah, you know, it's because I'm here. It's just a beautiful sunshine day out. It was just random. No, it's like it's hard to grasp. At least that's how it was for me. It's hard to grasp because the only way to blow up is by doing things consistently. And the only way to do things consistently is by committing to the process and not the end result. So you're just there posting. You're just there, whether it's posting back in the days, it was posting once a week on YouTube. That's what blew me up back then. There was no short form video content yet. There was no Reels, no TikTok, no nothing. It was just posting once a week on YouTube. So you just do the thing and you're just committed to that. You're committed to, okay, what's the next video going to be like? How can I make it awesome? How do I make it cut awesome? What's the title going to be like? What's the thumbnail and so on and so forth? You're so much in the process. I didn't even check my fucking view numbers until years in. And that's when I realized, oh shit, well, that video went viral. This video went viral. And I'm actually happy that I didn't really look at it too much because it allowed me to be as authentic as I could without trying to replicate things that went viral, which inevitably was the thing that made me go viral, right? Because I was just myself, basically. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. Nowadays, it's you want to be aware of what works. You want to double down on it. You want to find that balance, and, like I said before, and you want to be authentic with that as well. And everything started happening. It's like nothing happens until everything happens. So then it's like more and more people recognize you, and then from there, they tell their friends about it, and then those guys recognize you, and so on and so forth. I would have guys reaching out to me every single day. Hey, how can I become a client? I have money. Can I pay you this? I would get invited to everything. Hey, I'm invited to this party. Can you come? Hey, I see you're in XYZ city. Can I invite you to this and that? I remember it was one of the funniest stories ever. A guy invited me. It was the first invites I did. Back then when I would actually say yes to invites. Nowadays people invite me, I just don't reply or anything. But this guy invited me. He said, hey, Max, I know you're in LA. And there's this party I'm invited to. Do you want to come? And I'm like Austrian, right? So for me, like an American invited me to a party, I imagine this to be like American Pie, like a bunch of attractive models with bikinis everywhere, house party with a pool. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm down. So I'm getting ready. I'm all like, like working out that day. And then the guy was like, yeah, I'll pick you up, blah, blah, blah. So picks me up with his car. We drive outside of LA to like a suburban area. And we're parking in front of the house. It was a big house, nothing luxurious, but a big house. And I'm like, okay, where's the girls? And he's like, hey, bro, you want to smoke some weed in the car? I'm like, sure, man, fly out. Let's smoke some weed. So we smoke some weed in the car. We get into the house, and it was literally, we walk in, and it's just like 10 elderly women there in like their 40s and 50s. And they were like, and a big table like this full of food. And they're like, oh, hey, guys, welcome. Yeah, we're here making food. Our husbands are in the living room. And I'm like, husbands? That's weird. That's not the cool bikini party I imagined, And then we walked into the living room, and it was a circle of guys that were all old with all white hair. And they all had guitars. Each one of them had a guitar or bongo drums. So I sit down, and I'm like, all right, cool. And the guy next to me is like, hey, man, what's your name, man? You want to play guitar? I'm like, fuck yeah, I play guitar. Give me a guitar. So we play, and then everybody in that circle has like a solo on the guitar. And the circle comes to me, right? And I rip out a solo, improvise, and the guy next to me is like, dude, that was sick, man. What do you do? I'm like, yeah, I'm a dating coach, yada, yada. But I used to be a musician, right? And he's like, dude, that's cool. I do music myself. I'm like, yeah, what do you do? And he's like, have you ever heard of NWA? And I'm like, yeah, like the band? He's like, yeah, I'm their manager. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm just sitting next to fucking Jerry, who later on was in the movie, Straight Outta Compton. I mean, not the real guy, but someone played him. I'm like, oh shit, it's you, And shit like that happens all the time. All the doors open up. You get to meet a lot of cool people. People that you looked up to and used to be your heroes are all of a sudden colleagues. I've had this so many times where I would reach out to someone. Where someone would reach out to me and they're like, bro, I watch your videos. I love your stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, I watch your videos. I love your stuff. And it's shit like that where you're just like, wow, like I followed this guy. I learned from this guy. And now he says he watches my stuff.
Let me ask you a question, because I love that you're painting the picture for me, because it is interesting, right? I remember seeing you first time I saw. I have really good memory. Like my memory is fucking amazing. It was actually 2016. It was February 18th, 2016. And it was a few days after Valentine's Day. And my friend Nima actually showed me a video of you speaking. He's like, oh, I really like this guy. He talks about dating stuff. Because at the time, I was already making videos about dating. I didn't really know much about it. I was like, yeah, his content's really good. And it was like a hot seat or something. I don't remember what the video was. But, you had like a beard. You were talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, that guy's pretty cool. And it was, other people were sitting in the back. You guys had like a panel.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing you there. And then I remember seeing you again in like 2019. You had already, I think, rebranded, kind of went down this route, and I saw you wearing like the lifestyle shit was sick. You're skiing, you're snowboarding.
Yeah.
Like you were posting really cool shit in the Alps. You go-karting, you've been doing that for a while. We'll have to go into that later today, I think.
Yeah.
It was let's go. It's just sick shit you were doing. And I was looking, I'm like, yeah, his fucking brand is sick. And I just remember seeing it, right? And then now it's kind of interesting because you're one of the people I remember looking, and I'm like, God, that guy's really crushing it. What made you want to come connect? Because when I saw you, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to have him come stay at my house. Like, fuck, it'd be a really good guy to know, And I've heard about you through everyone from RSD. I've known about you on that level, and I've watched your stuff. And then I didn't know you were friends with Johan, but it makes sense. Johan went through RSD as well as a friend.
Yeah.
So, what made you say, okay, I want to go connect with this guy?
A couple things. Number one, Yo Viral was like, dude, you got to meet this guy. He's super fucking cool, and he knows you. And I'm like, oh, okay. That was one, just someone else vouching for someone, so to speak.
Yeah.
Then the second thing was like seeing that for whatever reason we've already been WhatsApping before.
Yeah.
That happened so many times, by the way, that I'm like meeting someone and then I'm like, what's your number? I'm like, dude, we've been messaging like 3 years ago. So that helped. And the other thing, and this is the biggest one, because you kept saying, I'm about to blow up. I'm about to blow up. For me, it doesn't seem like you don't seem like someone who's about to blow up. You seem like someone who's already blown up fucking years ago. It's your vibe, your confidence with which you speak. And clearly also you got the monetary results. So I'm like, what do you mean blowing up? You already blew up, right? But quote unquote, your Instagram quote unquote only has what, 60, 70,000 followers or something like that. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that. It seems like you got 8 million.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting from you. And then when I checked out your content, I'm like, this guy's fucking sick. Like, I showed it to him. I'm like, dude, let's go to LA. Let's meet this Marczell guy. Look at what he does. And it was this video of you like sleep with the gun, the fake gun, whatever it was.
The hypno gun.
Yeah. I'm like, this is so fucking sick, man. Let's meet this guy. He looks like fun. So those were the reasons.
It makes sense, and the reason I ask you is because I'm noticing that's the perception that's happening a lot more. Because people are like, people with millions of followers are like, hey, I'm coming to your seminar. They're DM me, and my team's like, hey, do you know him? I'm like, I know who he is. I don't know who he is. I've never met him. And I'm just noticing it happening a lot. But there are some people that are still really big. I'm not going to say the name, but we were just there the other day. And they like want to ignore you on purpose. I know they know because someone else that was there goes, oh yeah, I asked him if you're going to be here. And he's like, yeah, he came last time, so he should probably come. So like, you notice, I'm there. But you don't want to say a word, you don't say hi or anything. So it's just the games are interesting to me and some people at the top. But I find it really cool because I used to watch your stuff. And a lot of people that I used to watch their stuff are now becoming friends. Like when I first started hypnotizing these YouTubers, like in 2020, 2019, 2018, all these guys that were huge, like on Vine. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's
Vine.
Yeah. Everyone's like showing me their videos. They're like coming to me like, hey, can you help me with this and this? And I'm like, I just started this. Like people are looking up to me, like this is crazy. And I guess in my mind, what blowing up really means is like, my goal has always been to be the biggest in the space. Like I want to be the guy, like the household name. Like I'm going to a stadium. Like I want to fill a fucking stadium. That's always been my goal. And it's only because that to me is the most fun thing. I love public speaking. I love fucking seminars. That is my biggest passion. You know how fun it is.
It's a high.
Yeah, it's like a primal instinct.
Yeah, you cannot get. It's a high that is completely unrivaled.
I have never had a seminar, and my brain didn't come up with every solution, all my problems. Like if you ever watch the movie Limitless, that's why my seminars are called Limitless.
Love it.
Yeah. If you ever watch the movie Limitless, you take this pill, and suddenly you solve most of your problems. You become next level. Your brain at a seminar, like in that state, you are so sharp. It's almost kind of like before someone finishes a sentence. I have so many videos like this. I'm finishing the sentence for them. And how did you know what I was going to say? I don't know. And I'm watching it thinking I'm talking in slow motion.
Yeah.
But I'm way too fast. Like my average words per minute are 260 words per minute. The average person's at
calculated it.
No, there's an AI that calculates.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, everyone else on my team's at 140, 150. And they're always like, oh, you speak too fast. I think part of it's because of the hypnosis, right? And I'm sure in your native language, you probably speak also faster, right?
I almost think I speak faster in English, probably.
Well, your English is fast anyways. And your English is phenomenal. Like, you are fucking amazing in speech. Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah, but I think it's cool that you have an accent and you speak so elegantly.
That's good to know.
And you also have the European style in the class, which really resonates with America,
Yeah.
A lot of Americans are just like fucking tank top.
That's very true, yeah.
Redneck, But I was going to say, it's just like in that state, if I first time I hung out with Owen, it was 2019. I remember I'm watching him and like my 10 out of 10 is his average because he was just so present, very present person. And my 10 out of 10 was like his average state. And I'm like, I wonder what I'll be like in a few years. And what I could tell you, anyone watching is when you're in the zone enough, and you're always on, people are like, Marczell, you're always present. Don't you get tired? It's like, that's when you don't get tired. You don't get tired when you're in state. You're tired when you're forcing it. But when it flows, it just happens,
Yeah.
I think people just, unless you're confident, you're very confident, you can't tap into that. Lack of confidence stifles your brain. Like my chef, Abdullah, I hypnotized him and I said, you're going to go cut your fucking hair. You take out this piercing he had in his fucking eyebrow. And I said, the second you do those things, your confidence will be higher than mine. He does it. He comes back. Nobody recognizes his behavior. He's like I was telling one of my, my team members, I'm like, Tyrell, hey, like new lead. And he goes, Tyrell, new lead now. Right? I'm like, what the fuck? We're walking out. We go to the club. I took everyone out to the club. We got a table. A girl walks by. He takes his phone. He drives it into her chest. He says, put your number in now. Sit. Her friend comes. He's like, you sit too. 30 seconds later, he's making out with both of them. And then he sends them off. And they keep chasing him, and he does this with like 3 different sets of girls. It's like 6 girls. He's made out with 2 girls, 2 girls, 2 girls. I'm like, what's happening here? You know, what have we done? We made a monster. And then they're competing, and he ends up saying, hey, I'll bring them all back. You guys cool with that? And we're just like, who is this guy? What has happened to him, you know? So it's just crazy to see how his brain, his jokes used to be shit. Uncalibrated, not funny, didn't make any sense. I would ask him for advice. It wouldn't really add up. I'm like, no, never mind. He starts just giving advice now. He starts talking about jokes. They're so witty and they're so sharp and everything's so on point. I almost can't keep up myself. I'm like, it's crazy how much potential people have if they just become confident. Just that alone makes you smarter. It makes you sharper. It's like all the mental bandwidth that you spent, all the mental capacity, like what you can actually process, ends up being spent on nonsense thoughts. Second, you become confident. All the insecurities that have been literally consuming your mind fade away. Your brain power just levels up. And I think that's when you become a really good entrepreneur. It's just you become confident in some area.
It's insane because the public speaking was such a huge... I think I underestimated how much that actually did to my journey as an entrepreneur and as a person, as a human. I've had so many points where I would speak for fucking 3 hours, and 3 hours in, I would see myself speak. I would zoom. It was almost like I got shot out of my own head, and I would be kind of like above my head. I would look down at the top of my head, and I would see me gesticulating and speaking, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm looking at myself. I got a legit out of fucking body experience right now. And you just talk yourself into this trance. That was the funny shit. I would have business speaking events where I would be in Germany at big events, like 3,000-4,000 people in a hall. And I would be like, for example, co-headliner, right? And the headliner dude was like one of the like biggest German entrepreneurs. He was like the German Tony Robbins.
What's his name?
I keep forgetting.
I know who you're talking about, though. He's cool.
Tobias Beck.
Yeah, I know him.
You know him? No shit.
So I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
Yeah, epic. So he was on after me, right? And I'm just like fucking, I'm like dicking around and behind stage, and they're like, Max, man, you're on in like an hour. We need your presentation. I'm like, presentation? I don't have any. What? What do you mean? Like, what's the topic? I don't know. What? Are you fucking crazy? You don't know what you're going to speak for 4,000? They were freaking the fuck out. They went ballistic. And I had to explain to them. I'm like, listen, I've been touring the world 4 times. I never had a single presentation prepared, motherfucker. All right? I got this. And they're like, well, if you really say it, but we don't think so. And he goes, yeah, shut the fuck up. I will go on stage, completely blank mind. Like, the moment they introduce you, you walk on stage, all you see is just light and like a few of the rows of people. And they're all like looking at you, and it's just pure fucking silence. And you're just like, what's up? And it's like the voice comes to your head and you start speaking. Like it's like an idea is just given to you from the ether or whatever. And you just start fucking speaking. It's exactly like you said. You recognize what people want. You could finish their fucking sentences. For me, I could like almost read or feel the room of like, this is what they want to hear right now. So I would then find a way to talk to them in the exact way that they need it and want it to hear right now. So I would embark on a fucking story. I would tell something. I would give them 3, 4, 5 bullet points that would fit to that story. I had people fucking crying. I would see that. That's the crazy part, because they see you, but they can't see each other because they're all looking at you. So you could literally pick a like crying, epiphany, is ready to buy. Like you could fucking see it in their fucking faces. And you would just speak for like, and for me, those gigs, those were tiny fucking gigs, because the speaking slots were like 25 to 45 minutes. That's nothing. You and I, we're used to speak at least 3 to 10 fucking hours. Yeah. So I'm like, what do you mean, 25 to 45 minutes? I gotta hold myself back to not fucking speak forever and piss off the guy that talks after me. So I get off stage, I get fucking standing ovations. I'm like, oh, my fucking standing ovations? Why? I just rambled. And the fucking guy behind me, he's like, oh my God, Max, that was insane. Like shakes my hand. That was amazing. And I thought it was just some fanboy that found his way backstage. Turns out it was Tobias Beck, the headliner. I'm like brushing him off. I'm like, yeah, bro. Thanks, man. And it turns out he was the headliner after me. And shit like that is extremely impressive to people who cannot understand it. And it's almost like they're stifling themselves by preparing for the speech too much. They're like, this is going to be my speech. And then, I'm going to have this slide and that slide. I'm like, dude, you're killing your art form. This is fucking art. You're setting yourself up so you don't even get in the flow in the first place, because all you're doing is fucking either memorizing what you want to say or you're reading it off the fucking prompter. You're completely killing the entire magic of it. You're killing the spontaneity, the spontaneous aspect of public speaking, because no matter what reactions you're getting, you can't really do anything with them, because you're just like, oh, the next line is going to be this, or hey, I got to read this thing off. So I actually think, like you said, public speaking can be an out-of-body experience. It could be rivaling near-death experiences, because you're so fucking sharp. You're in such an insane flow state. And I'm not sure if this is the same for everybody. I know a lot of people are scared.
That's how I speak. What you just described, I cannot. I'll have ideas or topics that I want to cover, like a framework.
Roughly.
I have an outcome in mind. The outcome is they're going to have this result, but I have no idea what I'm going to say, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. People are like, what are you going to talk about? I don't fucking know. Yeah. I know when it comes out of my mouth, that's when I know.
Yeah.
The second you're in state and you're on stage, it just happens. And the same way you said it, it's like, I think, though, for someone to have that skill, that's a real public speaker. Not the guy who mastered his keynote, fakes the tonality, fakes the crying, fakes the voice, is acting on stage, and people connect. That's like, you're connecting to fake. I hate fake. Like, I am the most real fucking person you'll find. You're real as fuck. That's why I love talking to you. When you go on stage, I want to be real. I'm not here preparing. I'm here because we're having a conversation. I didn't prepare for this conversation. When you have a meeting with someone, you're not preparing what you're going to say in the fucking meeting. You're just like, let's see how it goes. That's how I feel. When I'm on stage, I'm meeting 100 people, 1,000 people. It doesn't matter who's in front of me. I had the same thing happen. I went to an event. Gary Vee was the headliner, and I was one of the speakers as well. And I had an hour slot. I go on there, and the person introduces me. They're like, oh, yeah, and by the way, you guys can go to lunch. But yeah, Marcel, like that. And I stopped and I said, listen, before everyone walks out the room, some of you already did, and that's going to be the biggest travesty happen to you. I said, you can get lunch, and you can miss out on this. Or you can be a part of the best probably speech you've ever heard in your whole life. Rather than all these other speakers that came here, it's all boring. You're not going to remember it. You just came here to network. This is the one speech that'll change your life. So sit your ass down. You're not getting lunch.
Damn.
And I told them, I'm like, and by the way, you should be ashamed of yourself for introducing me that way. That was the most embarrassing introduction I ever got. And you should be ashamed of yourself, and I expect an apology later. And people were like shocked. And
they're like, who the fuck is this guy?
But I did it because I needed to create authority. Yeah. So I had to be an asshole, because it's like I needed their attention, or they would have just been like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I had to be that guy, and they're like, whoa. And then I hooked the room, and then I went and I said, okay, let's make it happen. And I did it for an hour. Anyways, I posted this video on YouTube. I started saying that before I got on stage. I was mic'd up before I got on stage, and I started saying that before I walked up on the stage. I was walking up to the stage as I'm saying that. Then we start the video on YouTube when I walk on stage, and I change the vibe automatically. I did vibe, And the part where it peaks. So I couldn't sell there, so I was priming everybody to follow me on Instagram. If you look on that video, it's like 85,000 views. The one that it peaks like this, like literally like 10 times higher than every other part of attention, is the part where I CTA. And it's just like a testament to how strong the CTA is, So I always find the benchmark is like how many people wanted to continue to see me or hear from me or learn from me. And I just love the idea of public speaking is like, the one thing I noticed about your way of speaking and the way you do business, and that's why it's so ironic that you're a coach and I'm a coach and we kind of are in the same industry. We have very similar values, similar personality. And it starts off in what? Pickup. It all started off in, hey, you don't have a pickup line. You just look at the scenario, you look at the person, and you have, you feel the vibe, and you fix it. And you overcome the objections. And that's what gives you the sales skills. That's what gives you public speaking skills. Like what gives you the improvisation skills. It's what puts you in the confidence and the flow state. So you just take that one skill, and it has now manifested itself in business, in the ability to public speak, in the ability to make unlimited amounts of money. And anyone who says, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, but I know they can't go walk up to a girl. There's not one person on my team that can't cold approach. Not one person. Not one person on my team that's not confident. Because I know they need to be a reflection of me. They need to be mini-me's in some way, shape, or form. They need to have my mindset, my capacity, and working on it to do it. And if they can't, and they're too technical, on the operations side, I think it's good. But on the sales side, marketing side, it's just funny that you said it, because that's exactly how I feel when I speak. And it's my biggest high, because I cannot have a structured speech. Has to be a challenge. I have to be like, I want the challenge. I want to go on there and not know what people are going to say.
Yeah.
I want to go on there and not know what people are going to do. And I want to be able to do things and be like, okay, now that I'm on stage, what do I want to do? This past weekend, majority of these models didn't speak English. So imagine going on stage. No one even knows what you're saying. It's like wasted, speaking, wasted vocals because you're losing your voice. And I'm like, I don't care. Like my mindset was, I'm going to practice focus. They're talking, some of them are talking, and I'm like, tiha, which means be quiet, And you know, so I'm just practicing like not caring, like just mastering my focus.
Love it.
And then it's just like a muscle. Like everything to me is just, I'm there to have fun. I had a really great time on stage. It was a good vibe. Someone even challenged me. And she's like, so what's your opinion on like, because I was talking about masks, taking masks off. And I'm like, some people can have a mask and a mask. So what's a feminine mask? And the whole room, like the dynamic shifts. They're like, who are we going to listen to? And I just ignored her. You know, it was just funny. And then the owner, or like the person hosting the event, she was like, wait, are you going to answer? I'm like, no. And I ignored her. And then the room came back to me. And then she kept kind of shifting the energy back there. And I'm like, look, guys, here's what's happening. All your attention's going to her instead of me. I'm trying to change your life. And this is just a distraction. I'll answer your stuff later. Just, guys, you're focused on me, not on this. You know, I just find it interesting, like the calibration, though, to have that and the confidence to call out the problem.
Yeah.
It's very, very few speakers that could do it. Very few people are as real as you are as well. So that's why I think, like, who else is this young? You're what, 34?
Yep.
I'm 26. How many people are this young in the industry? Not many. They're all very old. Like you, Alex Ramosi, he's pretty young, but he's not really offering like a coaching offer either. Yeah. But if you look at the people in this space, you got Gary Vee's like in his 50s, I think. Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone in the 60s. You got the more cheesy kind of speakers, because there's a lot of like the cheesy speakers that, you know, I think are, I don't know, I don't really click with them. And, you know, no one's in their 20s. Very few are in their early 30s. Most of them are in their 40s or 50s or 60s. I just think, okay, if this is what the first decade and a half brought you, so the first almost decade brought me, what's the next decade look like?
It's insane. I often think about it and I'm like, fuck, because I don't know about you. I often beat myself down because I'm like, well, but so-and-so has reached so-and-so much more. Yeah, but man, like I've already done a lot of fucking shit. I can't wait to see where else I get to go. So if you've been in personal development for 2 years and you see great progress, wait till you do that shit for 10, 15 years because it stacks up. It's a thing that builds upon each other.
Yep.
It just gets crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. And then sure, you'll have periods where you're going to eat shit for a year or two, like I've had, like you've had. But that thing that if you come from a background of personal development and a commitment to learning, that just makes you way more unfuckable than anything else. Yep. And you'll come out of that and you're like, this guy can't be fucked with. This guy, they try to cancel this guy, doesn't matter. They'll try to take away his money, doesn't fucking matter. They'll try to fucking push him away into something other, doesn't fucking matter. If you really want to become unfuckable, if you want to become indestructible, or like I say, like I love hearing King Keto say, if you want to become literally immortal, he keeps making this joke like, I'm immortal. That's how you get there, by committing to self-development in a very, very long time. And it's very core. For us, it was pickup. That's one part of personal development. For other people, it's fitness. I speak to a lot of fitness influencers. They're like, my gateway drug was fucking gym. That's all under one umbrella, which is self-fucking improvement. Yep. It's the most important thing in the world. I'm not just saying this because I'm fucking selling you a course. You're not just fucking selling this because you're selling a course or your seminar. It's because it's fucking true. There's so many cynics out there that are like, don't believe all the hypey people about self-improvement. You can't change. Broke. You can't change. You're broke, you're gonna stay broke. The world is evil.
Yep. But that guy's broke. That guy's a loser. That guy's a piece of shit.
Face is fucking broke.
Yeah, it's like tried to cancel me on Clubhouse. I mean, one of the biggest guys on Clubhouse, 2020. How did it? I had 7,000 people in my room. This old client of mine, his name is Jeremy Green, also a piece of shit, fraud, fake. He has like felony convictions. Lost his house 2014. He's fake rich. You know, I just did a background check on him and I exposed him, not publicly, but now I am. You know. Loser, but beside the point, insecure piece of shit. So he tries to cancel me on Clubhouse. He ends up networking his way with his fake followers, his fake verification. You got a verification back then.
Verified.
And he like calls me. He's like, hey, you know, he has his friend who's a psychologist call me and say she's suicidal. I'm like, look, I don't help with that, but I coach you. He's like, well, how much to coach you? I really want to work with you. I'm like, what's $300K a year? But again, like, you know, what do you want? I'm trying to figure out our goals. And they're apparently streaming this on like a separate Clubhouse where CoffeeZilla is there. And they try to cancel me anyways. He puts me on like an interview. He tries like, what's your certification? Like, first of all, I have the highest certification in clinical hypnotherapy you can get in the world. So first of all, yeah. Second of all, it's like, well, who's your mentor? My mentor is an 80-year-old PhD psychologist. Her name's Shira. She was my early mentor. And she's a clinical hypnotherapist who even told me to go into this. Everything I had, not just lined up. It was perfect. He couldn't cancel me. He ends up just removing me from the thing. I opened my own room. I'm like, fuck it. Then they go to the owners of the Clubhouse and they shout about my thing. Like, you know what? I was the first one to get canceled on that app. I said, fuck this app. Fuck everyone on it. I don't care. And now the app's nothing. Because the best speakers in the world are on this app. You want to cancel them, punish them, fuck it. Now your app is worthless, you stupid piece of shit. You had an app with so much potential that you and I would have lived on every day. Would have been on that app. I was on that app 8 to 10 hours a day giving seminars.
Yeah.
Paris Hilton followed me. You know, everyone was on that app. Like, and guess what? They ruined it for themselves. So I only bring this up because when you look at someone who's trying to tear you down, at the end of the day, you look at people with their followers and their views. I still get to live in a sick mansion. I still get to hang out with really cool people. I have great friends. I still get to make a massive impact every day. You saw right before. I was talking last night. I was giving a speech and someone's like, oh yeah, I met this one guy who talked about how a hypnotist got rid of my stutter. I posted the video of that on my story and he responded saying, oh, it was me.
Yeah.
Because I've done it so many times. Like it was me. You know, I still get those results where I make a massive impact on someone's life. So when someone comes in and tries to tear it down, I don't care about them. I'm caring about the people I'm making impact on. I'm protecting them. So when I say something like this, like if you're watching someone who's constantly hating on someone else, just know if someone had the time to go hate on someone, it's probably a piece of shit person. Like it's the guy who's talking shit all the time. What else do they have to do? What do we talk about majority of this podcast? Positive things. I only bring that example up because you talked about getting canceled, being unfuckable. I think the only person, like, I hope he watches this podcast. I hope he watches this podcast, and I would invite him to make a video on me. I would want him to make a video. And if he wants to have an actual conversation, let's have an actual conversation. If he wants to go try and cancel you or me, because I know they're gonna try and come after it. Do it.
I mean, the problem too is if you're someone, anyone now, nobody specific. If you're someone who's building a brand just by shitting on other people, funny enough, is that energy that you put out, it always circles back. And it's so funny how many of these like exposed YouTube channels, they get exposed by other exposed YouTube channels. Like, oh, well, that guy isn't as real as you guys think. And it's because it's like, whatever, like this destructive energy always wants to self-destruct, right? Like if you want to go woo on it, like low vibrational energy wants to create more low vibrational energy.
Yep.
High vibrational energy wants to create more high vibrational energy. That's why if you come from a mindset of like, let me give, let me help others win, you will also win from that. This is not some woo-woo bullshit, the secret manifestation bullshit. It's simply also, you can literally root that in anything physical, real world. Like if you help a lot of people, they will literally say, this guy's great, help me out a lot. You know what? Let me help you back. This is reciprocity, right? This is the thank you economy, great book by Gary Vee. These things are fucking real. That's at the very core of content marketing. What do you do with content marketing? You give out the best of your content out for free, or some of the best, to fucking help people. And you know what they want to do then? They want to buy from you. Why? Because they're like, I got so much fucking value. Number one, I feel like I'm in debt to that person. Ergo, I want to give him money. And number two, they've helped me so much with their free shit. I wonder what their paid shit must be looking like. If their free shit is so fucking good, how's their fucking paid shit gonna be? Alejandro Reyes, one of my more recent mentors. I've had him on the podcast like a year ago too. He says the best way to show someone that you can help them is by actually helping them. Like, what a fucking mind-blowing thing to say. So that's why I'm always like, that's why I try to surround myself as much as possible with like-minded people that are positive, that are giving, that want to share, that want to collaborate, because I know like that's first of all good for them, that's good for me, that's good for everyone, and it just propels that positive energy, and you're part of an upward spiral of success that just never fucking ends. But if you just hate on everyone, you just shit on everyone, and you're like Eminem says, like your talent is critiquing my talent, you're literally creating a downward spiral. There's no way out of that. You cannot build real long-lasting wealth. I'm saying real long-lasting wealth from that. Because like you said, certain individuals with hate YouTube channels, they might have a couple million followers. How much do you get for like 1 million views? What is it, 10K or something like that on YouTube ad spend? Not so fucking much. Well, guess what? You're shooting yourself in the foot, because with a channel like that, you can't even have fucking sponsors. Because that would diminish your because now people are like, well, you're hating on everybody else selling something. You're selling shit yourself. You can't even fucking sell merch, because it would water down your message of like everybody is a fucking scammer. Everybody that sells something is a fucking scammer. So the only real way to monetize it is by YouTube views. And YouTube views are not a lot of fucking money. How much you get per million views? 10K? That's fucking nothing. 1K per minute. So you can 1 million views makes you $1 $10,000 on YouTube, all right?
I get $13 for every 1,000 views.
My
channel is so valuable.
Exactly. So I'd rather just have a smaller channel to really help fucking people and really actually give value other than just shitting on other people, and then sell something valuable on the back of that. Now you're making real fucking money. You know what I'm saying?
I'll show you the stats. This video, I just posted a podcast with my buddy Chase. And the video, just to show you, I'll show you the actual stat right here on the pod, because everyone's like, oh yeah, the guy's just full of shit. Here we go. So this video has 10,000 views. It has currently produced, with 10,000 views, it has produced.
Is that Iris or where are you at?
No, this is YouTube.
Oh, okay.
$135 on 10,000 views.
Yeah, much better.
$14. Wait, where is it? Where's my RPM? It's not showing up on this.
I mean, the thing is, that's just what you get from the views. You get a single client paying you $1 million a year. Now, you know what I mean? Now you got paid like way more.
I mean, no, I'll get, from clientele on this is way, way, way higher than the rest. Yeah. But $135 for 10,000 views on YouTube, from what I've heard, is absurd. It's a $13, what do you call it? What's the term? Per thousand
cost per million views or something like that. CPM.
Yeah, CPM.
Yeah.
$13 CPM, which is nuts.
Mm.
But I want to point out to anyone watching this, it's like you're not going to go very far hating on other people. Like, the saying, you ever see a hater doing better than you? Is this guy really not doing better than everyone? Like, is this guy really so, you know what I mean? Like why is your life so shit? Like, what's the problem? Anyways, away from this guy, let me ask you this question. What would you say for you is the number one trait you have that has got you to where you want to go?
Sickening work ethic.
Okay, what's your work ethic?
I just work until I fucking go to sleep, until I can't work anymore, or until my goal is reached. A micro goal, meaning like a specific task is done. I think I'm neither the smartest guy in the world. I'm neither the smartest guy in this fucking room. I'm neither the best looking guy, neither the most charismatic guy. I just outwork everyone. And I'll tell you how I know that. When I started with RSD, Real Social Dynamics, first business group that I collaborate with, I looked at RSD, okay? Back then, RSD was Jeffy, Julian, Tyler, aka Owen, Brad, Luke. Luke was after me. But those were like the core guys, okay? Jeffy, Julian, and Owen. And I looked at them, and I'm like, I'm just this fucking Austrian fucking chode coming into the company. And I was like, how the fuck are they hiring me out of anyone? Right? Now, in retrospective, I know why they hired me, because Owen saw a huge fucking potential in me, and he saw my fucking work ethic. Anyways, I'm in RSD. I just get in. I look at it. I'm like, will I ever be able to do more insane public speaking than Owen, the fucking god of public speaking? No fucking way. No way in hell. Okay, let's look at Julian. Will I ever have crazier, amazing, insane game than Julian? No fucking way. Will I ever be more charismatic and witty than Jeffy? No fucking way. So what can I fucking do? Todd was in there too. Will I ever have more logical breakdown gift or knowledge than Todd? No fucking way. So what can I do then? Well, I could just fucking outwork all of them. That's what I could do. I'm not going to out charisma Jeffrey. I'm not going to out logic Todd. I'm not going to out game Julian. I'm not going to out public speak Tyler, but I'm going to just fucking outwork all of them. Because I know Julian's not going to work 16 hours a day. He's making a ton of money. He's having fun. He loves listening to ABBA. I'm not going to outwork I'm not going to out charisma Jeffy. He's not going to fucking work all day. Jeffy likes to enjoy life. I'm not going to out public speak Tyler all day, because he's going to eat steak and he's going to go to Erewhon and drink Reishi mushroom tea. And I'm not going to out anyone anything. But what I will do is I'll fucking get up, I'll fucking work. And then I work some fucking more. And then I wake up at night because I'm fucking scared of my future. I'm fucking anxious because I haven't made any fucking money. I haven't gotten any fucking brand. I haven't gotten nothing for me. So I'm just gonna fucking wake up, fucking heart attack. I'm getting fucking arrhythmia, sweat my balls. Probably also because I was jet lagged and constantly malnourished. You know what I did when I felt anxious and I couldn't fucking sleep? I fucking roll out of bed, open my fucking shitty $500 Windows laptop that took 30 minutes to boot up, and I went to fucking work. And I worked so long until the fucking voice in my head that told me I'm not good enough, the voice in my head that told me that I'm never going to make it, the voice in my head that told me I'm just fucking lucky that they're having me around, they haven't just realized how fucking idiotic I am, until that fucking voice silenced. And then I got a couple hours of sleep, and then I woke up the next day and I just repeated it. It's all I ever fucking did. It's all I ever fucking did. I don't think I'm talented. People tell me I'm talented. Maybe I am. I don't know. I just don't think I'm talented. I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the world. I'll just out fucking work everyone. It's always been my thing.
You know, I think what you say, I have a different frame of my mentality. My mentality was like, oh, I'm going to be the best at this, right? But to be the best, I always thought, hey, I projected onto others. I'm like, they must be really fucking good. If I got this good this fast, everyone else must be so much better. I used to think like, whoa, like Darren Brown, I used to look up to him as like the best hypnotist in the world. You know, he's the best mentalist ever, but hypnotist is not the best in the world. He's very good, but he's not the best. Tony Robbins, you know, oh my God, this guy's the GOAT. Like, I'm like, Tony Robbins is the best, like best public speaker. He's crushing it. You know, I never really like, Grant Cardone wasn't really like my mentor. I never looked up to him. I think he's awesome, super impressive, but you know, that was never like the direction. I didn't like that culture. So anyways, I look at these guys and I go, fuck, they're so good. And I remember going from like 18 to 19, I got really good. And then from 19 to 20, I got really fucking good. 2021, I'm like to 20, 21 years old, I got amazing. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, how good must they be? And then I started to see more of them. I'd see them in person. I saw Darren Brown live. Unbelievable. I saw Tony Robbins live. I was disappointed a little bit, you know? And I was disappointed because it wasn't what I thought it was. I thought it was just, you know, I just thought it was like at the level, you know, I was able to understand like the priming, the sales, like I was able to understand all the anchoring, like everything that they were doing, the pitch, like Tony Robbins is doing. I was like, I see what he's doing. But I was like, this is so obvious, so overt. Like, say yes, lights flash in your face, you know, like, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, it's an interesting way of doing it. And then I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, well, if that's like the best results, like Tony Robbins has the best results in that area, you know, Darren Brown has some of the coolest videos where he like hypnotizes people to go like kill someone or rob a bank, you know. Then I became friends with like this guy named Spidey. He's huge now. He has another page called Behavioral Arts, like one of the biggest. It actually is the biggest body language YouTube channel on YouTube right now. And I became friends with him, and I realized how good he was and how good all these other guys are. And in doing so, I was like, hey, what's Darren Brown doing? He's like, oh, it's not even hypnosis. A lot of it's just sleight of hand or mentalism. And I'm like, oh, wow. But I was able to, I'm like, are you sure? He goes, yeah. I'm like, but I could do all these things. I've done these things. I went and practiced them thinking it was hypnosis. And that's how I got really good. Like, I remember this one specific instance he paid with money. I didn't realize they were pre-hypnotized or like it was sleight of hand where he was, you know, able to do it. I didn't know it was like that. So I would go practice things and I got really good. And that's what made me realize, I'm like, yo, you're competing with an imaginary version of what the best looks like. Mm-hmm. And that imaginary version is miles ahead, because I'm sure they had a similar mentality where they have what the best is. And then they became the best, but then they stopped. I became the best at what I do at 22. 22 years old, I was already skillfully the best. I'm 26. This version of me shits on that version of me. And I can only imagine with a 28, 29-year-old. So I made myself a promise. I said, if this is how fast I improve, I'm never going to stop improving, because I want to see how far I could take it. I want to make it I want to be so good that anyone for the next 1,000 years to come cannot be better. You know, and that's been my mentality. It's like, how do I stay the best? Like Conor McGregor, we talked about him before we started the podcast. I love Conor McGregor. Like, I love this man. I remember watching Notorious. That was one of the most motivating. There are two documentaries that shifted my mindset completely. One was I'm Not Your Guru by Tony Robbins. The other one was Notorious, Conor McGregor. And, you know, the song at the beginning of that is called Legendary. I played it every seminar because it's just anchored to that like mentality of like, you know, beginning of the thing, he goes, my dream is to be the best in the world. My dream is to have more money I know what to do with, have a different car for every day of the week. And he did that. And I remember I was living with my parents. I'm at their house. I had a girlfriend at the time who ended up cheating on me a week later after watching this documentary. So I saw this documentary December 1st, cheated on me December 7th, and 2018. I'm watching this documentary. I'm watching him drive an S-Class Mercedes convertible. Like, he's getting all these cars. I'm like, fuck, I wish I had that life. Like, that's crazy. And he's talking about how he wanted to do it, and he did it. And it's just like the comeback and like the mentality, the mindset. And I was like, this guy's amazing. I love this guy. And to see kind of how he's taking his foot off the pedal, he's gone off the gas. You know, I've been the biggest Conor McGregor fan. Like, I really want him to come back. I want to see him fight again. I just want to see a comeback story, you know? Like, I want to see him just come back and just get the title again and then retire. Like, that would be my dream for Conor. I don't know if it'll happen, but when I look at him, I say, I don't want to be like, and this is so fucked up, right? Because this is someone you look up to in different ways. Like, when you look at Conor at the beginning, I looked up to him and said, I want to be like that. I want to have that. And I look at him and I say, I don't want that to happen to me. You know, and that's that's what I want him to change my mind. I want him to be like, no, you do. I want the comeback. I want to see it. You know, talking about that, like, I remember like Nick Diaz, talked to Nick Diaz's brother, the main guy fighting him in the fucking documentary, you know? And I was just like having all these connections coming up that I never had. Jake Paul, right? Started coaching Jake Paul. Jake Paul's talking about Conor McGregor. They're talking about each other all the time. It's like, what are the odds? You know, it just, all these connections, like what seems so far away, like you said, starts to not be so far away. Like you're one connection away. You're like a person who's Jake Paul's even bigger than Conor now, you know? So I'm looking at all of these things, and I know that even though Jake makes fun of Conor, I know that Conor was a motivating factor for Jake too. He motivated everybody, and he revolutionized the industry. I just think that if you want to really be the best way to look at it is don't ever take your foot off the gas, because someone hungrier, someone like you who's going to work hard no matter what, never stop, always be consistent, someone like me who's fucking hungry, like I had nothing. I will never go back to that. I will never go back to my friends inviting me to dinner and I can't afford it. I'll never go back to not having money for gas and not living in a mansion, not having a chef, not having a maid, not buying whatever I want, saying I can't afford it. I will never in my life go back to that. And I guaranteed it with my skill set. I guaranteed it with the way I act. Now, if that's your mentality, well, you're in for it. You're in for it for a long time. Very few people are willing to think like that. And I always say, if you think you're on top, especially in our industry, whoever thinks they're on top right now, I'm coming for you. You're coming for them. You know, like it's just a matter of time. I may not have blown up as fast as other people, but I will be at the top. And everyone will be like, oh yeah, Marczell. It's kind of like when you look at Eminem. At the beginning, everyone's like, fuck Eminem. And no one wanted to do business with me. No one wanted to collab with me. No one invited me on their stages. All my seminars, I filled myself. I know everything from A to Z on that shit. Now I'm getting invitations. Now people are like, come speak on my stage. I want you to come do this. I never had that before. But the reason I bring it up is like Eminem. No one wanted Eminem. Now we say, yeah, I mean, there's Eminem and then there's us. You know, it's like there's Michael Jordan and then there's the rest of us. There's Kobe Bryant and then there's the rest of us. That's kind of where it'll end up being. It's just not there yet. And I think that it's awesome talking to you because you're the first coach I've spoken to. The first one with the same mindset I have, with the same beliefs, the same pattern of focus, the same idea, the same discipline. You're the first one. That's why I know you're going to be a titan in 10, 15, 20 years. You already are, but I mean, you're going to be huge. I do think you should bring back the live events though.
I'm down to do that, man.
And I think they're the most profitable thing you could do too. You know? So I'm just saying, like, I think it'd be awesome to see you kind of back on stages, doing tours. Like,
fucking sick.
Yeah. It'd be a really cool thing to do. And just, I'm curious to see what do you think you're going to look like in the next 5-10 years? Like, what's the vision? I know you wanted the clarity and I'm going to help you with that, but what's that vision? Because for me, the vision I see you in rooms with 3,000-4,000 people. You know, everyone's like, oh yeah, Max is one of the faces of Person Development.
Yeah. I always loved public speaking. I always loved it. I always want to get back to it. I do a lot of public speaking every single day with my clients. It's on Zoom. It's a slightly different, but I go on rambles. I literally had them early in the morning. Monday, Tuesday, I usually have all my calls. And I fucking love it. I sometimes I go in tired. Sometimes I go in like fucking, you know, not focused. But afterwards, I'm fucking top of my mind. I'm all on top of everything. I feel fucking insane. And I barely can fucking go to sleep. Because usually in Europe, those are in the evening. Here they are in the morning. Yeah. Fucking time change. So I actually like it. Maybe I'll switch them up to them in the morning because I feel so wired afterwards. So definitely want to go back to public speaking. I would love to do that. Whether it's going to be personal development or business or a mix of both, I tend to go more towards the mix of it because I don't think you can just teach business without teaching personal development and vice versa. The best vehicle for personal development is if you channel it to a proper end result, which is either money making or whatever. Back in the days, get girls or get a perfect ratio or whatnot. So I want to do that. We're definitely going to make at least 10 million each and every year. That's where I want to get to. I want to build a couple houses. I want to get married. I want to get kids. I want to have a cherry tree, an apple tree. I want to have vegetables growing in my garden. I want to have at least one goat and at least 5 chickens. I want to have a little bit of a ranch/farm feeling where I live. I want to live in somewhere beautiful nature, not too far off from an airport, so I can still fucking travel and kill shit.
It'd be cool for you to get a place in Malibu.
Dude, oh my God. No, Malibu probably not. I don't like California as much. But places like that. Yeah. What would be sick would be Hawaii. fucking
Hawaii's cool.
love Hawaii, man. It's
Yeah.
unreal, man. And then just have family and just keep balling, make good money, help people. Because people are always like, when do you retire? I'm like, motherfucker, I could have retired at 23. No, not 23, but 26 already. I could have legit, just like you. We could just fucking retire. I'm not even for the money. Not only, I love money, I love making money, but most importantly, I love growing. I've always been a builder. When I was playing video games, the video games that hooked me the most are always the city builder video games. Or the ones where you build a base, where you build like resources and shit like that. Always loved building. Before that, I always built like Lego police stations and shit like that. I never played with them. I always just build them, turn down, build them, turn down, build them until I ran out of fucking pieces. And then I asked my parents to buy me more pieces for Christmas and for birthday. I always was a builder. I either like building my own stuff or stuff for my clients. So I never stopped doing that. As long as I can physically do that, like teach people, talk, inspire people like that, and therefore help them build a business, build a life, build a relationship, whatever the fuck it is, I'm going to do that. I'll just do it more with a baller fucking house, a shit ton of fucking money, even more than I have right now, and a bunch of goats and chickens and cats and dogs, and my beautiful, beautiful wife giving me at least 3 children. She's going to have to do a lot of childbearing work over the next years. She's in it for a ride.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? I think that's the biggest gift is to be able to find someone like you and have your kids. I mean, you're going to be taken care of for the rest of your life. Because
one last thing.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I also want to start racing, preferably Porsche Cup. I'm practicing now. I'm doing sim racing. I've had Suelu Almeida on the podcast. He's now champion. I showed him to you. I want to start sim racing and real life racing, just as a side thing.
I want to do that too. So when you get into
We would make a racing team.
I'm down to do it, honestly. And I think
I'm down, man. It's racing team.
yeah, that would be good, bro. I'm not.
Because it's sick marketing. You market our brands, and like these fucking random fucking guys are like winning fucking cups.
Bro, you know how I know I would win? First, I'd hypnotize you to win. It'd be easy.
Fuck yeah, I'm down. We'll do that, and we'll film it, and we'll put it on my
The
channel.
thing with driving, I'm a very good driver. People don't know.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I fucking saw it, man. I told you, right?
Yeah, you did say it, and I'm not. And people don't know though. Like you didn't see me at like limits. There's no limits. Like in my brain, I'm like, I know what needs to happen. Like I have the confidence. I have to build the confidence in the car. I have to know if the tires are warm. Like I have to know where the car is at. But when the car is going, I drive with ex-professional race car drivers, and we go to like tracks. We go to canyons. We go to things like that. No one I drive with even remotely keeps up with me. Like I'm in the front because they just cannot keep up. And the reason being, I just see it different. Like I'm looking at the weight of the car. I'm thinking about, okay, when you're on the brakes, like I will never brake in a turn. I'm thinking about balance. That's what happened on that last turn. I'm going to correct it on the next one.
Yeah.
I'm constantly thinking, the car isn't consistent. It's not performing. Like I have to like wind up the turbos. Like, just the mindset of racing a car, like a naturally aspirated car, like my GT3, super reliable, super consistent, always does exactly the same thing.
That's why people love GT3s. Yeah, that's why 90% of Nürburgring cars are all GT3s, RS or GT4.
It's literally the most predictable car. Most predictable car.
It's the best racing car in the world ever built. I love, apart from Formula 1 cars, but like the best regular.
Most fun car, the most fun car ever. And I'll tell you, like Ferrari, quite disappointing is like a race. If you're racing,
same,
very disappointing. If you're looking at, unless you're like an SF90. But that thing it's not as fun. It's not as it's crazy. The car is insane car, but it's just not as fun. The 765 LT McLaren, wow. But you really got to be a good driver to drive that. Andrew Tate says it's his favorite car. They bought 3 of them, and there's only 765 in the world, right? So there's a reason though. And I'll just tell you this one thing. I think we should definitely get into racing. That is my favorite hobby in the world.
Do it, man.
It's my favorite hobby.
And we're going to cut back to this point, like in a couple of years, we're going to have our own racing team. This is going to be the start of our trailer. It's going to say 2024 podcast, Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
September, whatever, what is it? October?
It's October
1st. Fucking epic.
You just reminded me about what today is.
What is it?
So today, 2017, my dog Da Vinci died.
Oh, man.
And then
R.I.P.
Yeah, but that made me go become a good hypnotist. That's the
because
day,
your dog died
7 years ago. I said, I'm going to go become the best hypnotist in the world.
Wow. Well, mate, I think with that, we're going to wrap things up.
Let's do it.
Have we been speaking 3 hours? 3 hours? Man. Wait, how can people find you?
Yeah, guys, the best way to look at, like, if you really want to go deep on my stuff, go look at my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is honestly amazing. If you want to kind of see highlights and it's funny, it's entertaining, you get a few, cool things. Instagram is really cool, at Marczell, or YouTube is Marczell K.
with a CZ.
So yeah, it's spelled Marczell. It's actually a Hungarian spelling. The Z is silent in Hungary. So Marczell, M-A-R-C-Z, silent Z, E-L-L. That's my Instagram. My YouTube is my first name and then a K. But if you just look up my first name, I'll pop up.
Fuck yeah. How did they, did you buy Marczell? Like just at Marczell?
When I went on Instagram in 2012, I just made an account. No one had my name.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah. So,
well, it's been a joy. It's been a joy to have you on the podcast. Thanks for having me on, bro.
All right, so Marczell Klein is literally financing his entire lifestyle of living in a beautiful villa, driving insane cars, and just overall being on the top of his game in terms of health, focus, mental, everything. And the way he can do that is because he's built a coaching business. And I know that you're listening to this right now, and you have a skill, a hobby, expertise, a passion within you that you would love to monetize. And we can actually help you with that because we've helped over 3,000 people with that already since 2019. In fact, last year alone, I cracked 8 figures with my online coaching company. It's not the first time I made millions with that. In fact, this is the second company where I've done this already. So if you want to know more on how you can literally get started and generate high amounts of income this year with your online coaching business from scratch, then go ahead, hop on a call with me and my team entirely for free. We're actually known to give a lot of value in these calls already. This is not necessarily a sales call, high pressure thing. This is literally us telling you what kind of skill you can monetize, how to monetize it, where to post, how to get your first clients, and then how to automate that beautiful thing so you can travel the world, pay all your bills, invest that money, help out your parents, help out your kids, and all that jazz. I'm gonna put a link down in the description below. If you cannot find the link, it's also just maxtornow.com/call. Go check that out now, and let's hop on a call, and let's talk soon. GG.
Put your feet together for me. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna make this easy because I want you to have the craziest result.
Okay.
And we're gonna go, think of the ayahuasca trip you had. Mm-hmm. Now, whatever that was, think of that, except think of better. Mm-hmm. Think of more. Like, this is going to be the most profound transformation you ever had in your fucking life. Like, I will literally do something for you now. It's like if there's something you came here for, this should be it. Okay. And all you got to do is just follow my instructions. As long as you follow my instructions, your life is going to fucking change. Okay. So, people, obviously we're homies, but what people come pay me for this is unbelievable. So, put your hands together. Go like this. Look at these 2 fingers. Squeeze your hands nice and tight. Open those 2 fingers. Notice they start coming closer and closer as if magnets are pulling and tugging them. Perfect. Now in a moment they're going to touch. Just allow them to touch. Imagine these magnets getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Now I want you to imagine these magnets getting so tight that they're literally squeezing and pressing and pushing. I want you to imagine now that there's a solid brass metal ring around these fingers. And that solid brass metal ring is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. When you imagine that solid brass metal ring is getting so tight now around these fingers, I want you to think about something in your mind that's holding you back, keeping you stuck. When you have it, take a deep breath. Perfect. Move it into these fingers and notice these fingers are now stuck. You cannot pull them apart. The harder you try, the harder it becomes. When I say the word sleep, your eyes are going to close, your body's going to relax, and you're going to find you focus on the sound of my voice. Now go ahead and close your eyes. Move that stuckness from your fingers to your eyelids, and I want you to imagine there's a solid, bright light right here. Roll your eyes to the back of your head. Look up. I want you to imagine there's literally a white light right there. Look at it. Do not move your eyes from there. Literally look up. Roll your eyes to the back of your head. Focus on that light. When I snap my fingers, your eyelids are stuck. As you lock into that light, you do not stop looking at it. Notice your eyes are now stuck. Try and open them. Notice you can't. And just sleep all the way down. Completely relaxing all the way deep. Now with 5, 4, 3, and sleep. Each and every time I say the word sleep or deep sleep, you will go into the state 1,000,000 times deeper. In a moment, you're going to find your back has a lot of tension. You're going to bring a dial from number 0 to 10, 10 being the most tension or most pain, 0 being nothing. Find the number you're at, take a deep breath, and bring it all the way down to 0. Literally to 0. There's no more pain here. Same way you feel in your shoulders, same way you might feel somewhere else. There's literally no pain there. When you understand, accept that, nod your head. In a moment, you're going to find you forget you were hypnotized. Your back feels fucking amazing. When I say the word sleep, you go back in 1,000,000 times deeper. When you understand, accept that, nod your head. Eyes open, wide awake. Okay. Hey, really quick. How's your back feeling? Pretty good. Stand up real quick. How's your back? Any pain?
Dude, no. What the fuck, man?
You didn't need a massage, you just needed me. But,
bro, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, man? What the fuck? I feel good, man.
Yeah, I know. All right, have a seat for me.
Damn, man.
Isn't that crazy? And sleep all the way down, relaxing your mind and your body. Now 5, 4, 3, and sleep. In a moment, you're going to find your body so heavy and it's so relaxed. It's literally stuck, glued, or fused to this couch. You find yourself literally relaxing, sinking into this couch. You feel yourself completely just stuck to this couch. Now you feel it. It feels so fucking good to be stuck. You don't even know why. The more you try to move, the harder it becomes. Eyes open. Try and move real quick. Notice you can't. Perfect. Now that stuckness moves to your tongue. Try and say your name. You can't. You forgot your name. It's gone now. What's your name? Quick. You forgot. Sleep. Eyes open. Sleep. Eyes open. Sleep. Eyes open. Sleep. Eyes open. Sleep. All the way down. Sleep. Sleep. All the way down. Sleep. All the way down. Completely relaxing. Completely letting go. Now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and deep sleep. Eyes open, wide awake. Hey, good job, bro. Good job. Look at your hand, look lines in your hand, and just sleep all the way down, all the way deep, completely relaxing. Just again, completely letting go. Now, the more I tap you on the shoulder, the deeper you go, the better you start to feel now, feeling it, just letting go. In a moment, you're going to find your body is still hypnotized, your body is stuck. Only thing that wakes up is everything from the neck up. You find that from the neck up, you are wide awake. From the bottom, neck down, you are not. Eyes open. How's your body feeling?
Good, relaxed.
Yeah? How do you feel?
Good.
Yeah, solid. Do me a favor. Imagine right here I have a sleep ball. It's very heavy. Very, very heavy. And when it hits you, it knocks you the fuck out. But it's kind of heavy. All the way down. All the way deep and sleep. Completely relaxing. In a moment you find I have a hypno gun. Every time I shoot you with it, you not only go into this state 1,000,000 times deeper, but you forget you were hypnotized. When you understand and accept that, take a deep breath. Eyes open, wide awake. Look at me real quick. Bam. You'll watch this later, you'll understand. Eyes open. Bam. And deep sleep. In a moment, you're going to be completely wide awake. You would think we're just starting off. You would swear up and down you haven't been hypnotized yet. When you understand that, nod your head. Eyes open, wide awake. Okay, so what did you want to be hypnotized for? Have you been hypnotized yet, by the way?
No.
Cool. You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. How sure?
Which is I know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Now, sleep. In a moment, every time I snap my fingers, this is called fractionation, by the way. So this is something I invented. It's very, very advanced, but fractionation is when you take someone out of trance. I didn't invent this, but I'll show you what I invented in a minute. So when you take someone out of trance, and then you put them back in. Every time you do that, they go in deeper. So imagine you have an alarm clock and you snooze it. What you're doing is it gets harder and harder to wake up because you go in deeper and deeper into a trance. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a suggestion. Every time I snap, he thinks that he wasn't hypnotized. And then when I snap again, he remembers being hypnotized. And I keep going back and forth. And it's a fucking mind fuck, but it puts him into the deepest trance you could possibly be in. Because amnesia is a deep trance, so you're going back and forth from the craziest, deepest trance. It's the fastest way to get them into a really, really, it's called the somnambulistic state. It's the deepest state. So when I snap my fingers, you're going to forget you were hypnotized. When I snap again, you realize what's going on. Every time I snap, you go back and forth between forgetting and remembering. Eyes open, wide awake. Have you been hypnotized yet?
Nope.
Crazy, huh?
What?
When I snap, you realize what's going on.
Yeah. What's up?
You realize you were hypnotized or no?
No.
How about now?
Yeah.
You were hypnotized?
Yeah.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, you're hypnotizing me right now.
Or were you hypnotized?
I don't think so.
No. How about now?
Yeah. Nope.
No. You haven't been hypnotized yet.
What?
You haven't been hypnotized yet, right?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you bet money on it?
Sure, man. Yeah, fuck yeah.
All right. How much?
I don't know. I got $100 in my thing.
See, this is fucked up. You see where it gets fucked up?
What?
No. You want to...
What's up?
Have you been hypnotized?
What's up, man?
Have you been hypnotized?
What are we doing, man?
No, not sleep. Perfect. He's a great subject. Honestly, he's really fucking amazing. So in a moment, I want you to think about, in a moment when I snap my fingers, you become a version of you 10 years from now. And you tell me all the things that Max has worked on, all the things he's changed, all the things he's perfected, who he is, You have clarity on that like you've never had before. There's a part of you that is so clear on that, it's not even funny. Does that version of Max not smoke? Does that version of Max, is he just fucking on point? I want you to see that version of Max now. And when I snap my fingers, your unconscious mind will fucking throw it out there with confidence. You've come back in time to tell us who that is. Eyes open. So, Max in 10 years, tell me what's up.
44 years old.
Yeah.
I got a big ranch. I'm growing animals on there. My wife is making awesome food from the food we grow there. I have about 500K that I have just cash lying around in my business account because I don't even want to pay that out. I have around 50K a month just coming in just from real estate. My business makes around 15 to 20 million a year. And it's pretty chill, pretty happy. I play a lot of music, and
Nice.
I have a couple goats.
Nice, okay. And sleep. In a moment you find that that goal becomes bigger, you actually make way more money, you're more confident you're going to make it happen, your work ethic's 1,000 times stronger, and you have this clarity carry into everything for the rest of your life. So I want you to now imagine yourself in 10 years. You've got stages, you've got thousands of people there, your YouTube channel is massive, you're doing 40 to 50 million a year at the minimum, you're one of the biggest in personal development in the entire planet, you command a massive fee to work with you one-on-one, you have a line out the door for it, and you are literally living on the sickest ranch. You have more than one. You're happier than you've ever been. You feel fucking incredible. That is fulfillment. I want you now to take all those feelings inside of you. Anything in the past, any old habits that you still have from the insecure version of you, from the not confident version of you, from the version of you that used to have the self-talk that said, you know, I'm not good enough, all that. I want you to see that version of you. And I want you now to erase it. Not because it's gone from your memory, but because it no longer needs to take place. And I want you now to imagine that you have nothing. You are naked, completely naked, in a completely different place. And in a moment, I want you now to imagine yourself just sleep. I'm going to do something fucking crazy. And this is going to change his life. Come on. Give me a moment. Let the silence take you deeper. I might even ask you for this audio because of what I'm about to do. That's how good what this is. I want you now to imagine yourself. You are literally a Spartan. You're a gladiator. You have all this armor all over you. Every piece of armor covers this scar. It covers a wound. It covers an insecurity. And you know that. Some of these wounds, you just put some piece of armor on and completely neglect it. But you've heard that there's this mystical river. And if you go to this river, it's a spiritual river that connects everything. And this river can heal you. But in order to be allowed to go in, the spirits in the river have to understand that you have the purest intentions to change. You ask around, and finally you meet someone. Someone who looks like a younger version of you. And they remind you where this river is. You realize you've once known about it. And you begin this journey, this adventure to find it. Finally, you get to this river. And you see this bright light because the river is bright. And you start to approach the river. And as you do, you feel warmth in your chest. But you feel all of that pain starting to come up. And some armor starts to come off of your arms. Some armor leaves your shins. The energy of the river starts to take off this armor, leaving you vulnerable. You get on your knees in front of this river, and you beg the river to let you in. Please let me heal. And the river responds with this question. Are you ready to let go of any mask you have? Are you ready to be naked, to be vulnerable, to deal with everything you haven't dealt with? I want you now to take off this armor. And I want you to look at the wounds you have, the scars you have. Some of them are infected. Things you've ignored, pain you feel. And you feel it. Not yet, but in a moment, you'll go into this river. And this river represents unconditional love. And once you go into it, any darkness you have fades away. Because once you turn on the light, in any darkness, no darkness can enter. And there is no pain without a lack of love. You see, anytime we feel pain, it's because there's an absence of love. Whenever you lose love, you feel pain. In a moment, you're going to go into this river, and you're going to feel all of the pain, all of the wounds, all of the scars. They're all going to come up. And you will let them go, and all of your masks, all of the muscle, all of the things you used to cover up the wounds will fade away, and you get to start again. I want you to take a deep breath. And not yet, but in a moment, you will go into this river and you will remove everything that you have holding you back. You could feel it in your body. You could feel it coming to the surface. All the things you've been holding down, all of the pain, all of the insecurities, all of the masks, everything that's been holding you back financially, emotionally, spiritually. You're about to have real freedom. Take a deep breath, and I want you to go into the river now. And just feel it inside of you now. Feel it. And just feel the love moving through you. You feel it in your heart. The masks just melting off of you, just the raw version of you coming through. Any pain in your body, gone. All of the tension you've been holding, gone. Stress is gone. You are just you now. You are just love. As you come out of this river, you're not a new man. You are Max. Without the scars, without the pain, just the most confident, full of self-love version of you. Completely vulnerable, completely raw. And as you stand up and you look at the reflection in the river, you see a little kid looking back at you, tears in his eyes, and you tell that kid you love him. You tell him how amazing he is. You show him that he's going to change a lot of lives. I want you now to imagine your life in 1 year. I want you to see where you are. Notice how much progress you've made being the fully, even more authentic version of you, powerful version of you, unstoppable version of you. Nothing affects you because this time you didn't build armor that can break or fall off. You didn't build on scars. You built a foundation on the truth. Eyes open wide awake. Whew. How do you feel?
Amazing. I feel really, really, really good. Thank you, man. Really do. Thank you, man.
Of course, bro.
Go fucking shit, man. Holy shit, man. I saw the river, man, and I saw the light changing in my eyes. Insane. Fuck, man, that was sick.
How do you feel right now?
Really good.
And by the way, you don't need that much sleep. You'll feel great.
Good, thanks, man.
You'll wake up tomorrow.
That's the best part, man.
How's your back?
No, good. I don't feel any pressure in the back and the spine that I felt the whole evening. It's just really light. I feel like after like a really deep massage, and like from the workout, all the tension and shit, it's just gone.
Think about your future.
Yeah.
How much you want to make in 10 years per year?
A lot of fucking money. 50 million. 50 million sounds like a decent amount, you know?
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I think that's realistic.
Yeah, I'm honestly, you're one of my favorite subjects ever hypnotized. You're the most like coachable. It's funny how the coach is the most coachable, you know?
It's funny because when you said all these things, if someone random would come up to me and say, go to sleep, I'd be like, no. But you're like, go to sleep. I'm like, of course. Like, yeah, like.
Your body just let it in. Hey, Alex.
What's up, man?
You heard some of it?
Dude, nice classes, bro.
Thanks, man.
So.
I'm gonna be up in 2 hours. I'm going back to 7 to 2.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so.
So you're just going to pull all night?
No, I'm gonna sleep for 2 hours.
Oh. You want me to hypnotize you also to feel like you slept for like 8?
That's great.
Here, sit down.
Yeah, I'm getting 2 hours.
No, I'll make
crazy part is like, you
Yeah.
know.
It's fucking great, yeah.
But I'm like, I have zero objections to anything you say.
That's hypnosis.
It's literally
It's like your conscious mind is somewhat aware, but you
because
like...
I know, like, you're the hypnotist, and you're like, oh, and I know you're gonna tell me that, but I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Dude, it's me at dinner. He was like, "What's that in your ear?" I'm like, "What the fuck's in my ear?" He's like, "Nuts."
But dude, when you like it was so fucking. There was some point where I'm like, holy fuck. There was some point somewhere with the river. I think when you said go into the fucking river, everything that I saw in my eyes, because it was just, you know, when you close your eyes, it's just dark. It started fucking shining. There was like fucking color. It was like blue and white, and that was the moment where I was like, holy fuck, that's some real shit. And then when you said like you feel all the pain, I felt all the pain, man. I was like, fuck, it's so deep right now.
And how do you feel now?
Good, real good. I literally, because you mentioned the ayahuasca experience, I feel very, very similar to that.
Told you.
Like super open, like
Ego.
very vulnerable.
No ego. Because you've just opened the window to the subconscious.
Yeah.
And now the subconscious comes out, you'll have more awareness, you'll have more motivation.
Yeah.
Told you, bro, I was in this room, I heard my fucking Path to Power, it's like my program.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard it was December 20th last year. And I fucking went down to I went full keto, didn't have a gram of sugar for 6.5 weeks until my seminar. And then just 7% body fat in 6 weeks. And then from 14. And then all of a sudden, now I listen to it 10 days ago. And 7 days ago, I finished my book, 91 pages. I was falling asleep here, right? You guys are like, what the fuck?
When I saw Boots in the morning, I was like, what the fuck slept on the couch?
Yeah.
Slept over.
I'm just here fucking writing, bro, like in the fucking zone, you know?
That was crazy.
Like, I actually wrote it in 2 days. Day 3 was all formatting. It was just me formatting and proofreading.
Yeah.
I fell asleep like 4 times.
But like I'm so mindfucked by that because I'm like it's just pure compliance. It was I expected it to be more like I have no idea what's going on, but it's like I know exactly what's going on, but I have no problem with any of it.
So it turns off the part of the brain responsible for inhibition. That part of the brain literally becomes inactive.
Yeah.
And that's what makes hypnosis so effective.
Epic.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. We've had a really good week this week anyway, so I'm like, okay, we're in the right path. Do some more of this. Tomorrow I'll put a call. It's like, yeah, it's a lot like I've been having this ever since we cracked, I think, like the 3-4 million a month, 3-4 million a year mark. This like brain fog of like it was like I was trying to paint on a canvas, but there was already shit on it, right? I'm trying to mock up a plan, but every time I try to draw on the board, there's already gibberish on it, and I'm like, fuck, where do I make the plan? And now I'm like, no, it's pretty good.
First thing you asked me when you came, hey, when I said I'll hypnotize you, you said, can you hypnotize me to have clarity?
Yeah.
So I'm happy you have it now.
Yeah. That was really fucking dope. It was really like very, very interesting experience, man.
Is there anything like that you've ever had or no?
Similar is the ayahuasca experience. Similar, but obviously that goes along over like a prolonged period of time and a lot of throwing up. This one is more seamless. I mean, it was ultra duper fast. I didn't have to do much for it, you know?
What would you tell someone who's skeptical about it?
I'm a skeptical person myself. And it was again like, I think people are skeptical because they think they're losing control of everything or anything like that, and then stuff just happens to you. But the experience I felt is like, I have full compliance to what you do, to what you say. So you said, go sleep, and I'm like, consciously, I'm like, yeah, he says that. But I'm like, but I totally will go to sleep now. You know, it's like, oh, well, he says I'm going to do this, so yeah, whatever, I'll do it. And I literally remember it was, I don't know, like the 6th time or whatever he said, go to sleep. I'm like, fine. Like that. That's the whole state is like, just fine.
Again, eventually your brain goes into it. I want to kind of show you something a little bit deeper if you want to see it.
Sure.
Because I want to show you a different layer of hypnosis. It'll take 30 seconds to show you.
Okay.
Put your feet flat on the ground.
Should be what?
Put your feet on the ground. Push down on my hand. Push. Close your eyes, open your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Push. Sleep. Completely relaxing all the way down. All the way deep. Eyes open, sleep. 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 Sleep. Completely relaxing. Eyes open, sleep. Eyes open, sleep. You know what you're gonna find? This glass is super heavy. You literally cannot pick it up. Try and pick it up. Eyes open. Try and pick that up.
I can't.
Try.
It's like stuck to the thing.
Okay, great. Now I'm gonna put this in this hand. Take this. No matter how hard you try, you cannot put that in this. If you do it, I will literally give you $1,000 right now on the camera. I don't give a fuck. I will give it to you. I'll give you $1,000 on the camera if you could put that in here, but you cannot do it. Try.
I can't even really fucking move it.
So here's what I want to demonstrate. Although he believes he consciously accepted things, your conscious mind will rationalize your decisions. Your brain unconsciously makes a decision based on a program, and then you rationalize it saying, I had the control. You don't have control. That's the one thing you got wrong about your perception hypnosis. Because if you really had control, you'd be able to put that in there right now. Try to do it.
No.
Try.
Yeah.
But now look, you can. And you're wide awake. Now you can pick up the glass. Interesting how it works, huh?
Get out of here.
So what's changed? So now what's changed in your perception? Because I want to hear your perception. Because I want people to really understand how to unlock your mind.
Like it was just really heavy. It was like literally like glued. It was like part of the couch.
And you couldn't pick it up?
Yeah, couldn't.
Now, was there anything holding it back? Nothing. But his mind. Same thing with you. Your potential is limitless. Only problem is you don't believe it. So it becomes impossible. So when you get rid of those limiting beliefs, literally limiting beliefs, because they actually limit your performance, physically, mentally, in your ability to find solutions, when you get rid of that, everything is possible. Which is why confidence is so key. Having the confidence in yourself removes these limiting beliefs.
It was like I don't know, it was like on one hand I was so fucking relaxed that I was like, no way I can move my arm to pick this thing up right now. And on the other hand, I'm like, it's also glued to the thing. I don't know. It was glued to the couch.
It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hypnosis is wild, which is why you need to subscribe now. Subscribe. If you're not, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Even comment. Subscribe. It's not my channel, it's his, so subscribe. Just do it. All right, go on.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic. I gotta say, a very, very, very epic experience.
Yeah, it's so funny because the last thing I want to share with you is that you should subscribe now. And we'll see you in the next video.